Greetings and welcome to Office Hours with Dr. G. I'm your host, Dr. G, and I'm so glad that you can keep our appointment. Now, tonight's guests are no strangers. They're veterans to Office Hours with Dr. G. Every time they come with something to bring us enlightenment with regards to astrology or even numerology, or even tonight, we're going to be talking about Reiki. I'm talking about brothers Hasan Ghaziel Bey and Sean Alim L of Seven Heel Star Astrology, here to present Reiki, the body, and astrology. A little bit about them in case you don't know. Seven Heel Star Astrology Firm is the first and only internationally certified professional astrology firm organized by true and faithful sentient beings in harmony with nature, namely Moorish Americans, honoring their ancient foremothers and forefathers, that their days belong upon the earthland. Seven Heel Star Astrology Firm provides AstroLiteracy and concept correction sessions for other sentient beings that are secure in seeking truth and seeking the simplicity and utilizing civics and astrology lovingly for their and their loved ones' benefit. So be prepared to enjoy, again, this presentation entitled Reiki, the body, and astrology. And I'm real excited about this because I happen to be a Reiki practitioner, maybe not as adept as some, but I can at least have a few words to say to interject with tonight's guest. Without further ado, I want to present to you brothers Hasan Ghaziel Bey again and brother Sean Alim L of Seven Heel Star Astrology Firm. Welcome, y'all. I have to listen. The music's not bumping tonight because my speakers are off, but hey, it's there, so we gotta do the best we can.
I'm brother sign to write me a song next. That's what I want.
You're hilarious.
Brother sign to write me a song next. I don't think song in.
So we're gonna let it rock out. And Hasan, you put this together for me. I woke up with the beat in my head, and you took what was in my head and put it on. I can't say wax, but you put it into hit. You put it into the universe, and everybody knows who she is because of this. Thank you, my brother.
Indeed. I appreciate having the opportunity to be able to engineer your thoughts and help you to manifest that. So it was fun. And every once in a while I go back and look at the file just to remind myself the date and everything that happened. But I yield.
Well, listen, welcome back. Tonight, like I said, I can maybe interject or have some questions because I am a level 2 Reiki practitioner. So although I'm a little derelict in duty, since unfortunately some other technology came in, and you know how technology moves sometimes the ancient practices aside. We're like, oh, I'll opt for that thing that's easier. But Reiki is tried and true, and with that, I'm going to yield the floor to you, Brother Sean, to introduce us to this thought and this discussion for tonight.
All right. Well, I guess I will get this all started out. So peace and love to everyone watching, and that this will come across. I'm Brother Sean Alim L, one of the 5 awesome, magnificent bros from the Seven Heel Star Astrology Firm. So for me, I have been a Reiki Master Practitioner it's been over 3 years now. So I have went through all the levels, and I've also did some advanced levels when it comes to this Reiki. And for me, what I like to say, going through the initiation is like Enter the Dragon, right? With Bruce Leroy, right? When he starts out, and his journey, then he's got to go through and meet the master and his challenges and trials. So there's a couple different levels to that. So before I get started off, let me, Brother Hasan, I'm pretty sure everyone knows who Brother Hasan is as well. The boom. I guess he'll introduce himself later. Islam.
Yeah,
So
I
let
will.
me hit.
Yeah, later.
Got you,
bro.
All right. So share screen. Boom, boom.
Okay.
Entire. Okay. Okay, there we go. Bam. So now I'm gonna bring it back, and boom. Does everybody see my screen?
Let me see how we. Let me make sure I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. Let me see. Here's your screen, but let me get you off of. Wait, hold up, y'all. That's me doing this.
We're patient.
Share. Here's your screen. I just got to bring you out of. Give me a minute. Let me cancel this for folks.
Okay.
Yeah, no worries. While that's taking place,
I
guys,
have to
make
get
sure.
solo mode. That's why I can't get the. I'm actually from solo mode.
Indeed. I'm gonna say go to 7hillstar.com and sign up
Oh, okay. So here we are with your screen.
for our email list while you're waiting for this.
Okay, we got a bunch of screens up now.
Uh-uh.
Do you want to? Is that the screen? I don't think that's the screen you want.
All right, so I'm gonna hit stop share. Let me hit present again.
And it looks like we lost Brother Hasan.
And okay, let's see, make sure that's right. Okay, is it showing now?
Add to screen. Yes. What is Reiki?
Okay, cool. I just can't see me, but that's all right. 'Cause I think when I come back here,
That's
it goes like into a bunch of screens.
Right. You don't want to do that.
Okay, so we'll go from there. Boom, here we go. All right, so just a few basics for anyone out there that's never heard about Reiki. Reiki is a Japanese healing art that was established by Mikao Yusi in the early 20th century. And just from my studies along the way and able to come through just some different prophetic or dreams or visions, it's always been here. It's been here a while, and you can just check and see like in earlier times that it always been something. So I'll say that. So Reiki is made up of two Japanese words: Rei, higher power, and Kai, life force energy. And just to be clear, Reiki, some will say Reiki, is not affiliated with any religion or religious belief system. None at all. But the stories of it has been told in all types of different religions or systems. Those of Christianity with Jesus healing the sick or healing the blind. We even think of Buddha. Pretty much anything that you see, the healing is based through the Reiki. It's no system of belief. It's using one's will and one's connection with the all source. Now, when it comes to the different levels of Reiki, the first one that goes through the first course, the first initiation, is through touch. But it also can be sent through distance. Let's say you are in the Florida State Republic and someone is in the China State Republic. You'll be able to send that energy through any location, distance, even to past life and even past events. When one is attuned to Reiki, it's lifelong. It's kind of like a matrimony to the life source energy. All right, so anybody can receive Reiki, even babies in the womb. Reiki is a very gentle yet effective method of healing emotional, mental, and spiritual imbalances. Reiki can also raise the vibration of foods, oils, crystals, and other physical items. So for anyone that is interested, or has even been through the Reiki stage initiation, right? So the first part of it, it's like imagine having your own spin-off of power, right? You having your own story. So then the next symbol or the next step or initiation is the harmony symbol. It's like getting healed by Jesus metaphysically, right? The I am, the way shower, so healing oneself. That symbol is used for purification, and it also is healing the heart and mind. So this symbol right here, this second month, some would say, depending on how long they spread the teachings out, the second symbol is useful for removing creative blockages and healing the emotional effects of trauma and restoring, once again, spiritual equilibrium. The third step or initiation symbol is the distance symbol, meaning no past, no present, no future. This symbol allows the Reiki practitioners to access the Akashic records and also help others access their own more easily. You can still access it on yourself, through meditation, but the Reiki is just, it's like that loving, helping hand, right? That little voice in your head that motivates you or hypes you up to do something. It's, like that. So that we can also, with this symbol, we'll assist others and ourselves with connecting with past life energy and past life trauma. And this third symbol is what allows the distance. So, Dr. G, I remember saying you had made it to, level 2, which I just went over. Whenever you decide to continue your way, you get to that third level, you'll be able to do the distance anywhere, anytime. All right.
Well,
so, and then
let me see. I don't know whether if you were showing symbols, because you didn't show symbols, right? You were just talking about symbols. Right?
Correct. Yeah, I left that out, not to get super duper technical.
So you show the symbol. Yeah. Okay, all right. But it's funny that you say that, because a lot of times I have done distance Reiki. When my father, some of y'all might know who has been following, when my father Red Sheik and I were doing a Friday broadcast, I want to say in 2021, and in August, and I got a phone call that my father was rushed from the nursing home to the hospital, and he was basically given up as, there's nothing we could do. We could put him in hospice, and nobody could go see him because, it was in the midst of that stuff. And my people signed the DNR, do not resuscitate. And I was like, really? You know what I mean? And so I grabbed my proxy bear, my Reiki bear, which I use for proxy. And I, went about that night after the show, just broadcasting, beaming that energy to my father via that modality. And my father, and I did that throughout, he was given up to be put in hospice. That's a matter of days. They turned around and put him in a hospice at the nursing home instead of keeping him at the hospital, where after 2 days or so, they start putting you on the morphine drip and take you out anyway, So I was able to direct that energy to get him back into the nursing home where he had been for the last couple of years. And my father, that was August 2020. I want to say it was 2021. And he stayed with us until February 2022. You know what I mean? And I would like to say, and I'm not even sure if it was 2021 or if it was it could have been 2020, because it was over a year that my father stayed with us. And I did Reiki constantly. I told people, you can't stop me from doing this. You know what I mean? And I feel like, I said, Daddy, you stay here until you're ready to go. And when he did transition, he transitioned on the same day that my mother had transitioned 20 years prior.
Wow.
That's interesting. Wow.
That's amazing.
But I like I said, I think they may tell you what you can't do, until you get to certain things. But that, I was thinking when you were describing it, and I didn't think I was going to say anything, but when you were describing the various forms of Reiki, but when you remember, when we would hurt ourselves, y'all, and Mama or Grandma would hold us and put her hand on the boo-boo on our arm or our knee and stuff, that is a form of energy transfer. I mean, that energy, not unknowingly, do you agree, my brothers?
I think it's like the laying of hands.
Like, so yeah, because you mentioned like what Jesus did, and a lot of the things that we see or hear of in those narratives have to do with using those energies that were and remain available, but they just begin to make them so much more exclusive and so much more, because we don't even get the fact that, this character, Yeshua ben Joseph or whatever, studied Eastern, mystery systems and so forth, and was in these places, India and not just Egypt, but India also, where a lot of times some of these things might seem to be more prevalent. I yield.
No, that's perfect. That's actually excellent. Go ahead, Brother Sean. I yield.
Yeah, and which with you saying that brings me into my next point, because it all it boils down to using our will. You didn't let someone, it's like, well, hey, you can't do this. Like, I'm going to do it anyway. And it goes for anyone when they do something like no one told them that they really could. It's like, what will one do with this will at the end of the day, period. So that's why we do, the Reiki, and I also use the astrology, because it's like, shout out to Brother Corey, the Exalted Cyclops, and he was like, using the wheel to know how to use one's wheel. So for me, I've been able to see how the energy works, and we, naturally and intuitively really know what to do. All of us, we'll get thoughts or we'll get feelings of, oh, well, this needs to happen, or I can touch this part and heal. And with the astrology, applied with the Reiki, it gives, specific points, because not only do we have the, 7 chakras, they also say that there's a 12 chakra system, or who even really knows how many different, layers of chakras there are. So when it comes back to knowing thyself, having the astrology chart, and then with the Reiki, you have the 7 chakras. And of course, as it is within, so without. So with the 7 chakras, you have the 7 or body layers that are representative of those chakras as well. And so with being the Reiki practitioners, we work with the energy. Well, for me, I'll just say for me, knowing the astrology, studying the metaphysics, looking at all these various tools which are just meant for us to get back into knowing how to consciously and subconsciously use our will to work the different laws and causes. So, and even for me, Dr. G, I did some things for you, Brother Hasan. I did a lot of things for various other people. And it just allows us to all work with the natural energies that we're just not aware of. So I, do the healing with the body parts, because we don't have to be, physically around. That's what's so beautiful about everything and everyone being all connected. We are able to use our imagination and will, just like when Brother Hasan and Dr. G was like, when you hurt yourself and your mother put a boo-boo over, just saying those words and imagining it getting better, and then seeing how it feels, or just working all of those natural tools and energy that we have. Reiki is just a more advanced study into it. It's like that Spider-Man saying with, trying to remember, what was it? With great power comes great responsibility. Because, we are working with that one universal energy, that spirit, that force, and we have to be careful when working with others. And, as a disclaimer, Reiki is very great for a lot of things when, it's nervous, anxiety, or some would say, or, nervous disorders, or, other things. But it's still, if it's something serious, it's good to, see the doctor. But the Reiki assists with the pain or with the energetic rebalancing of it. And also when it's coming to like past wounds and trauma, that is stored up in different chakras. It's stored up in those emotional bodies. So it's working with that, cleansing with that, repairing that, and giving you the tools for yourself to do as well. It's just not an end all be all. Once again, it's coming back to being that way shower. It's like, all right, well, we're clearing this, we're working on this, we're getting these blocks removed. This is what you can also do to further even more and to help yourself, to where you might not have to even at some point go to anyone, or you'll be able to take those tools and assist someone else. It's all about, teaching one, healing one. And what's that saying, like, teach a man how to fish, or, and that
for a day. Yeah, give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day. Teach him how to fish, he'll eat for a lifetime.
Yeah, so that's what we do. And that's what will be going on in the this workshop, that's the thumbnail behind me. Not only is it going to be about astrology, it's going to be about Reiki. So when it comes to like relationships and that kind of energy and trauma that comes along, when it comes to abandonment issues, inner child issues, or as they would say, like black sheep imposter syndrome, we'll be working on a lot of those different things. So it's really to know self. And a major part of it is deep in humanity work. And that's really clearing out a lot of hatred energy, a lot of, I don't want to say negative, but bad story energy. But pretty much we're working with the energy to get everyone back to knowing themselves through the charts. Energetically moving those blocks that might be blocking how someone feels like they can be a part of their local community, or imagine 20, 30 people healing in a community and getting these blocks out the way, getting the astrology to know what they're good at, what are their strengths, what are their weaknesses, and keeping Prophet Nubadra Ali, at the forefront of the mind first and foremost is really kind of like the Son, Father, and the Holy Ghost, as some would like to say.
Indeed.
Well, it's that's interesting. And I like the fact that you are looking to help people heal themselves, like you said, not only know thyself, but heal thyself. And I do use different modalities now, in addition, and probably sometimes now, probably more so than that I still respect and appreciate that. And if I may, for one of the modalities that I use, and you all have heard me talk about it, it's called AO scan. And one of the things that the AO scan does is also looks at the chakras, because sometimes, like I've tested chakras and balances, with pendulum and so forth. I'm not sure exactly what methodology you use, but say I've used the pendulum to look at the spin to determine, in addition to, some, just, doing scans and stuff. But one thing I love about the AO scan, and in addition to all the other things that it does look at the chakras, and it does look at the meridians in the body, and it ties those things in. For instance, I'm gonna, like, if there's an imbalance in the crown chakra, what normally you might see some type of some level of physiology or physical impairment, such as migraines, brain tumors, coma, amnesia, nervous system and muscular system disorders, mental issues, and skin disorders. That can be, that's at the extreme, but those things can be experienced by someone whose crown chakra is not in balance, who has an imbalance. And so it is they're definitely like wheels that are tied to the parts. I just kind of envision it like sets of, like 7 wheels that have outcroppings to different parts of our body and our mind, because it's not just physiological, sometimes it's emotional, and especially if you're dealing with the solar plexus and stuff like that. But it's interesting that we can look at and tie a chakra imbalance to a physical situation that somebody, or emotional situation that somebody is dealing with.
And I'm like, glad you said that, because once again, like having those scans, and for me, just I will see like different colors or different light. And it's strange for me, like lately when I've been, working on the pets, their chakras and layers, it looks like kind of like a heat seeking thing, like how you see like red or green light. It just varies for everyone. But with that, and along with the astrology, we're able to see, because we'll have the 12 signs, and they'll kind of categorize into different body parts. But when you get more in depth into like medical astrology, it's not only certain parts of the body that planets rule, it's also certain nervous centers and skin or different bones all rule, like kidneys and livers. The blood flow, all that is ruled by different planets. So we're, looking at your chart, so if you ever wanted to get like the medical astrology analysis, or like any of those different types of things that, you know, we are offering, that we're here speaking about, we can just see, okay, well, this is the sign ruler, this is the way of the planet. And for me, as I've been able to see what, you know, the different chakras ruled by the different planets, and seeing the weight that they have, those planets, we're able to see this is weak or this aspect's going on. And for me, it's like, you know, watching Doctor Strange, like able to see so many different factual realities and different things going on, you know, within one's physical body and their astral body and their spiritual body. And for anyone that's even got into the Kabbalion, when looking at those different laws, you know, the as above, the so below, the as within, the so without, it's just, it's beautiful. And that's why we love to do what we do, because it takes a different level of commitment to really work with those energies to sincerely help the people. Because with the wrong and will intent, it can really do some damage with people. And I'll yield, bro.
All right. So to make the connection, right? So Brother Sean, I might one, can you screen share the self-healing and community building flyer? Because that was one thing I noted in my head. Screen share that real quick and I can read that flyer, and then we can go to 7healstar.com and get right into an example. I figured if I just jump into an example of how, you know, the combination in utilizing the astrology and the Reiki works, I think, you know, it'll allow everyone that's watching now live with us. And shout out to all of you guys in the chat. I see you getting your text on there and whatnot. I appreciate you guys joining us. I'm just thinking, yeah, can we share the flyer first, bro, since you mentioned it? So, guys, you see the Universally Professional Astrology Community, right? T.U.P.A.C. I know it spells Tupac, right? That is our astrological community. It's open to everyone. Even if you're a beginner in astrology or the intermediate level or expert level, it's all good. It's just it's a community for us to be able to discuss astrology. Every Saturday, we're normally having just regular old 2-hour discussions on anything at random. However, on the 23rd September, the 30th September, the 7th October, and the 14th October, so for 4 Saturdays, we're having the self-healing and community building workshop, and that's going to be on every Saturday from noon to 1400. So that's basically 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be $75 per class for all participants, including beings that are already members of T.U.P.A.C. There are some members already. For T.U.P.A.C. members, the recording is going to be free because we are recording each session. And it will be archived to a particular, cloud storage for everyone to access that wants it. However, if you're not a T.U.P.A.C. member, it's going to be 60 units extra for each recording, which is going to be well over 8 hours worth of video. Because even though we're saying we're only going to be there for 2 hours, we always kind of spill over to about 2.5, 3 hours. That's just even how it was this past Saturday when we did our astrology concept correction discussion, where we'll literally speak about anything. So we're gonna kind of do a little bit of that coming up, but just to show you guys also, it's going to be via Cash App. You can exchange via Cash App. If you don't have Cash App, guys, we can make arrangements. Don't be afraid to reach out to us. You can reach out. This 7healstar.com has an actual, live chat in the lower right-hand corner when you go to it. And I'm going to have Brother Sean next go to 7healstar.com. So 1, you can see that, but 2, we're going to use the free chart calculator. And it's interesting when Dr. G had brought up something about crown chakras. It's interesting because I think Aries is on the rise right now, if I'm not mistaken. I really do think Aries is on the rise right now, if I'm not mistaken, right? About 9 degrees Aries. So that's interesting because it's dealing with the head, right? But so let's take it to 7healstar.com, bro, and let's have some fun. I think in particular, I already kind of laid some tarot here to kind of see like what would the example be. So I think I'm going to merge a couple of things here because usually most people are dealing with, I think most things are from anxiety or some type of post-traumatic stress disorder. And usually your body will kind of, you know, tell what you've gone through mentally because of where you stored up that hurt and pain from whatever trauma you're experiencing. You'll store it up somewhere in the body. And eventually, you know, what we can do is cast a chart. That's called there's 3 types of charts. Say we have your natal chart. That's when you were manifested. You know, the day you manifested. Some people call, you know, their birthday, but we will take your natal date, natal time, natal location, cast that particular chart. Another chart would be the consultation chart. Like say you text me or Brother Sean and be like, yo, I'm having this massive headache, but it's, you know, not like any other headache I've had. Then we can take at that moment that we receive that text or that phone call and cast a chart off of that in horary fashion, right? Horary is a chart of the moment, not necessarily with your natal time, natal date, or natal location. It's just that at the time we comprehend what message you're conveying about how you're feeling. Another chart the third chart would be called the decumbrature chart. And the decumbrature chart is basically like when the day that you realize you was like, hey man, I had to call out of work and go lay down. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, we'll ask you, hey, look, what time did you do that? Like, when did you get home to lay down? And you give us a time on that. That's a decumbrature chart. So right there, we can look at 3 different charts that pertain to whatever you could particularly be going through. And just because, you know, you're feeling the effects in your head, it could be something else. It could be something in your kidneys. That's the problem. You could be dehydrated. You know what I mean? That's just one example. All right. So, Brother Sean, you can bring up 7healstar.com, please and thank you.
Okay. Bring it back up, please.
Yeah, you're muted too, broski doski.
All right, bring the window back up. Gotcha.
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
Present.
Bro, you know what? I already asked, like, what would it be particularly we would go in? Because I want you to cast a chart of the moment, and we're going to pretend that that's someone calling us, letting us know that they're going through something, right? Guys, this is 7healstar.com right here. You see we have a 7healstar natal chart calculator free for anybody to utilize, just like if you went to astro.com, AstroSeek, or AstroTheme. You can go to 7healstar.com. You see there, too, in the lower right-hand corner, says peaceful greetings. How can 7healstar assist? That's where you guys can talk to us. You know what I mean? And 9 times out of 10, you know, when I recognize and see, I think the longest it ever took me was maybe a little under 24 hours to respond to somebody. But I'm getting used to actually seeing that. But you guys can always reach out to us also that way. Alrighty. So 7healstar.com is usually the way to get in contact with us, or 7healstar@gmail.com. All right. So, Brother Sean, office hours with Dr. G, right? And let's say somebody, you know, called into the office, right? and they said, I'm going through something. So I don't know. You guys pick a city. Pick a city. It doesn't matter. Any city. Pick a city, any city.
Philadelphia.
Okay. There we go. Type in Philadelphia. Boom. Click on that one. Yeah. All right, let's do it for today. 2023. It's going to be PM, and so let's do, they called in at 2033, right? Well, 8. It's going to be 8 because it's going PM, so, right? Yeah, 8:33, right? And let's create the chart because and again, this is taking place at 7healstar.com, right? All right, so now what I'm going to look at here, can you give me a zoom just a little bit, bro? Just a little bit of a zoom, right? All right, so as I said, Aries is clearly on the rise, right? So this is how I would look at this, and I'm going to keep it short, sweet, to the point. All right, so the first house is the patient. So Aries and Mars would be the patient. Mars is there in the 7th house, right? Well, really, it's in the 6th house, actually. And that's very interesting to see how Mars is in the 6th house. But that would let me know that this patient is dealing with feeling weak because Mars in Libra is, it's Mars's detriment sign. So there's something detrimental. And we see that the patient is feeling like they're in a position of detriment. They're not, feeling at their strongest. Boom, that's obvious. The 7th house, Libra is on the 7th house right now. So that would be the physician or the astrologer, right? Along with Venus, which is there in Leo in the 5th house. All right. So now, you know, the type of physician that this would be, or someone that's helping, is someone who is really going to probably, you know, be adding their value either to looking at something that's dealing with the heart, your blood, even so, because the heart, which is, you know, representative of Leo, is a liquid pump, and it's helping to, you know, circulate blood through the veins and arteries. All right, because it's a liquid compressor, the heart. So what we could do in this moment, right, is just already observe the patient and the physician. That's two things we can do already. The illness is where the 6th house is. And the 6th house cusp, if I'm not mistaken, is looking like it's at the end of Leo. Right? That's what it's looking like. It's right at the end of Leo, probably 29 degrees. Matter of fact, can you scroll down a bit, bro? Is it giving us house cusps? If we scroll down a bit, just to see. Let's see. It's giving us placements. It's giving us aspects. Does it give us house positions? And this is why people are to come to 7 Heel Star. That's why. You see what I'm saying? That's why it's like, you guys come to us so you can get more going. But that's fine. I can actually see where that line is going. So the illness would be something dealing with the heart and the back, possibly. Where's the sun? Because the sun would be the significator, right? Or the sun would be what's ruling over the 6th house or ruling over the illness. It's there in Virgo, right? So it could be dealing with one, nervous system issues. So even if it wasn't the heart, Leo also deals with the back and the center of your nervous system, right? All the nerves are actually running through the spine. So when looking at Virgo, we could also think about the nervous system. What's interesting too is both, you know, Mercury and the sun are literally conjunct right now. They're next to each other there in Virgo. So now, not only have we analyzed Aries on the ascendant, Brother Sean, you can take your cursor to the ascendant, right, where you see ASC, which we can go further, get more detail to show, you know, about the patient by looking at Mars, which is there in the 6th house in Libra, right? Cool. Then we're like, okay, so who's the physician / astrologer? It's dealing with Libra and Venus, right? There's Libra on the 7th and Venus right there in the 5th, right? In Leo, right? So then we wanted to observe the illness. So we looked for the 6th house cusp. Okay, well, the 6th house cusp is on Leo. So we know we're dealing either with the heart, maybe circulation issues, or dealing with, you know, the spine. You know, maybe there's a subluxation in the spine, which a subluxation, not to be technical, is a minor dislocation of some vertebra in the spine that could, you know, maybe, you know, impinging upon some nerve. All right. So let's say you're having, you know, I remember, you know, one of the first charts I ever did as far as medical astrology, they had macular degeneration, right? They couldn't see because of spots in the line of their vision. And when I referred to a couple of documents that I have on medical astrology and looked at which part of the vertebrae rules over the head, because that's where the eyes are, I saw that it would be good for them to get a chiropractic adjustment in this sense, possibly, pertaining to the atlas place and the axis place, which is the 1st and 2nd cervical of the vertebra, which is like right at the top of your neck or at the top of your spine, right? So, however, like Brother Sean was also sharing with me, that it's one thing to come and get a treatment, right, or to have a session with Reiki, but the key is to actually, you know, uproot what the issue is. So even though you can get a chiropractic adjustment, even though you can get a Reiki session done, maybe there's some nutritional steps that can be taken. Maybe some not eating a whole lot of sugar and or starches. Maybe that could be something that could be contributing further to that particular, you know, issue as far as ocular issue, as far as the macular degeneration, as far as seeing spots within the line of vision. So just to kind of give that just wanted to say why we could look to the spine also as far as circulation, or maybe subluxations, which is minor dislocations of the vertebra impinging upon a nerve that will affect other parts of the body. Didn't mean to go off on a tangent too far, just wanted to give you some background. So now that I'm looking, and me and Brother Sean can look at these charts, and we're seeing that now it's like, okay, what would the treatment be, right? The treatment would be the 10th house, right? And we can see that the 10th house cusp is on Capricorn. So where's Saturn? Okay, well, Saturn's there in Pisces, right? So
joy.
Yeah, I know, right? And it's in its joy in the 12th house. So maybe if it's a circulation issue, again, talking about the heart, Venus and Leo, maybe you need to take a walk. Why? Because Saturn would be dealing with some type of structured activity pertaining to the feet, Pisces. Maybe taking a walk would help. Maybe getting a foot rub would help also to help relieve the circulation. Maybe there's something that could be done as far as I forgot what is it called when people do kind of like pressure pointing techniques or whatever.
Acupuncture.
Okay, and acupuncture also then. Yeah, I guess that would work also. However, I think
or reflexology.
There we go.
There we go.
Alrighty, so reflexology could be something else that could be utilized also. So looking at Saturn in the 12th, that's a possibility. 12th house also says, opposite of that 6th house, 12th house would also be maybe the institution where you would get that done. So it could be hospitals or some type of clinic, or maybe some, particular office or specialist that could be able to take care of that. So, maybe if you're like, oh, it's a circulation issue, my legs are always going to sleep, my feet are always numb, and maybe it's because it's a lack of exercise. Back to Virgo again, because Virgo deals with exercise. All righty, just to kind of, put that out there also. All righty, because it's dealing with daily activities, Virgo. All right. So now that we've looked at Capricorn to see what it is or whatever. As far as the treatment that could be done, and let's just say it could be something that's dealing with Saturn in Pisces, could be done with some type of structured walking. Alrighty, the outcome would be the 4th house, Cancer, right? So where's the moon? Well, the moon's there in the 2nd house in Gemini. So what would the outcome be? The outcome would be maybe you'll have people walking with you, people. Right, in your neighborhood, people, moon, neighborhood, Gemini, right? Or walking with you, Gemini, right? It being in the 2nd house, however, I would say that it would be people that you would probably be a group that values it as much as you do. It'll be a group that definitely values, the walking, the short exercising as much as you do. It could be, maybe biking, possibly. All righty. Being able to move quickly, the moon moves quickly around the neighborhood. All righty, that's another way that this could be looked at, and that's just to give a brief presentation, all righty, of how one could go through some medical astrology type of ideas, and then once we see that, we could be able to go, hey, look, Brother Sean, I see that there may be some circulation issues. Alrighty, they're saying they're having like restless leg syndrome, something going on with their feet. They've been through so-called reflexology or whatever. They've been to this specialist. They wanted to know if you could, deliver to them, Reiki, so to speak, right? And so with that being said, now Brother Sean can go about his healing process pertaining to that, along with the suggestion of letting the particular medical querent, right, / patient, let them know, like, hey, look, this is something that you might want to do also to help continue that, because you don't want it to keep reoccurring, and all you keep doing is just going to get adjustments, coming to get Reiki done. I mean, you can, however, you would like to eradicate, which means uproot the issue, completely so that you wouldn't have to keep dealing with that on repeat, right? So that's one thing. Any questions before I go on to my second thing here? Questions, comments, and or suggestions? I should have been looking at the chat too all at the same time. Mother Sahar said there's a lot of reflex points in the feet. Indeed, indeed. Sleepwalking, bad dreams, would that be under mental? It's funny too, because when it comes to the bed and or sleeping, that would probably be a 12th house issue. Honestly. Neptune, I think, will regulate sleep and dreams. So I would be like, hey, where's Neptune in your chart? You know what I'm saying? Or things of that nature, right? So, neck's been hurting on the right side. I need a massage. Huh? That's interesting, you know. Probably need an adjustment. I'll be very honest with you. I recognize that a lot has to deal with you know, has to deal with a lot of the vertebrae has a lot to deal with all nerve kind of like energies or whatever, you know what I'm saying? However, you know, can knock it to your jacket, honestly. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, in moving forward, let's see who else says what they say. Let me check the chat here some more. Let's see.
May I interject that?
Yes, go right ahead.
We, you know, I had to learn this through my working with the AO scan that the teeth are directly connected to organs in the body, and we don't think in terms, you know, when we, especially as adults, when we pull the permanent teeth, that a lot of those teeth are, you know, teeth are connected to the spleen and to the small intestines and so forth. So you start pulling teeth, teeth getting rotten, those teeth may be directly and be affecting parts of the body that you have no clue that it's connected to the fact that either you have bad teeth in your mouth or you pulled those teeth, and now there's a disconnect between the teeth. Just like the feet are connected to the organs, the teeth are also.
Yes.
If you got all your teeth out and you're wearing dentures, you've affected pretty much every major organ in your body.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. It's funny because when we check certain medical astrology references, right? Because I'm very huge on let me do the research, and then when I have, because the only way you can really know that it works or that it's real is if you actually have beings that come to you for it, and then you make your suggestions that are just friendly suggestions. It's not like this is actually going to work. Like that's not with anything. It's really a matter of us looking at the tendencies of what the issues are and what could be utilized to mitigate those tendencies. Right? So that's how I'm looking at that there. I think so that was just my immediate exampling, right? But you're absolutely correct, because again, those nerve endings that are, you know, at the base of teeth, right, within the gum line, of course, they're definitely going to connect to something, right? Because they're all connected through that spine. Period. Right? Because that could be looked at as the tree, and every nerve ending branching from, you know, the spine, you know, would be like branches and leaves on a tree, right? So I definitely will say yes, it would be wise to definitely look at that. I was just checking the chat here just to see. Linda says, heavy legs, 11 years old, open heart surgery. Advice, please. Hypertrophic cardiomyopathy. See, and that's funny how we was talking about issues of the heart and things of that nature. I mean, like I said, one could look at a chart. You know what I'm saying? It's funny how then we looked at it and heart was an issue with how when we looked at you You know, as far as what I was saying, like the issue could be as far as with the sixth house was on the end of Leo, right? And if it was at 29 degrees Leo, 29 degrees is a Leo degree. So it was just like extra prominent for it to be either the heart or something dealing with the back and possibly circulation issues. So I would say, you know, do what you know and what you trust as far as your medical regimen. Not everybody is going to rely on naturopathy. Alrighty. So if you trust white coats, hospitals, that's your decision that you're making. The best medical thing to do for yourself is prevention. That would be knowing what herbs correspond to certain things. So like how I even was like showing like Saturn's in Pisces, like because Capricorn was on the 10th house, on the midheaven, anything Saturn ruled can be utilized, right? A lot of people are, and I'm not advocating for cannabis here as much as I know that cannabis is ruled by Saturn. And so maybe people could, take, teas made from that. Not necessarily saying, go roll up and smoke something. I'm just saying like you might could do teas from that or any other herb that's Saturnian. There are other sativas out there other than that. I know if we were to bring up, do you have that ready, Brother Sean? Just very briefly, do you have the encyclopedia like ready as far as a share? And we can go to herbs and go to the Saturn group of herbs real quick, just for that example that we did, so that people can see a group just briefly. You know what I mean? That could be done. I mean, like we said, Saturn was in Pisces. Maybe the issue would be just soaking your feet in that Saturn herb. Just have a foot bath of that Saturn herb. Like, it's just different things that can be done. Maybe some type of poultice could be made out of that Saturn herb, But Brother Sean, what I pulled when doing that was the Nine of Coins upright. To go in like, what could I really speak on? And very interestingly, that's why I was thinking about the next thing to speak about, what usually affects people medically, is finances. So the anxiety would come from, okay, well, I got this going on. I got to make sure I have, these finances and things of that nature going on. And I was like, okay, well, what's the clarity? Queen of Cups reverse. Right? Queen of Cups reverse. So people may be feeling like they have so many things to take care of, so many things to do. And then I was like, what's the underlying factor? Five of Wands, bro. Right? So with that, I'm even looking at it like it could be a mindset of, when it comes to finances and maybe feeling like they have to, probably pour out those finances out to others, but really want to utilize it for themselves. They may feel themselves struggling inward, right? To make a decision to care for themselves instead of caring for others and hoping that they don't feel guilty about it. So now that's two things that are inciting the anxiety. Brother Sean, you want to add your wisdom to that? Again, Nine of Coins was what I asked about. The clarity was the Queen of Cups reverse. If you can, bro. I'm not gonna be concerned if your background's loud. Underlying factor, Five of Wands reverse. Mike still muted.
Muted.
There, I thought that y'all not see my screen? I've got the encyclopedia up, pulled up.
I think it's coming.
Okay. I don't know, let me come back to it.
Yeah. And we're looking for the herbs group. But as you're doing that, what do you think about that there?
And you said about the nine of coins, right? Nine of Pentacles.
Yep, Nine of Pentacles upright, Queen of Cups reverse. That was the clarity for the Nine of Pentacles. Five of Wands
Yeah, so
reverse, underlying factor.
we're bringing this sense of like completion with this knowledge. I think a lot of the people already know, but they weren't sure how to really connect things, or they might not have been aware on how to connect a lot of things when it comes to like health, finances. It's really important to really be able to know how to nurture oneself with the proper wisdom, right? You said someone was dealing with like the heavy legs, open heart surgery.
Yeah, it said Linda BB, heavy legs, 11 years old, open heart surgery. Advice, please. Hypertrophic cardiomyopathy.
Right. So yeah, we have to, look at that chart, but that just deals with a lot of like Sun Saturn energy, even when you was saying that. So maybe some things might need to be restricted. And I know someone said speed walking's effective, like maybe even just being out of nature. I'm not sure exactly where your natal is, but we know that the sun is transiting Virgo. So maybe just if one can really just get out into nature, will be just something off immediately if you really can. It makes me think of like sciatica too. That might be a part of that. All right, so
maybe swimming also might be something too. You know what I mean?
You said that. It made me think when you was talking about Saturn earlier. I'm like, man, like maybe like someone they can like to go train in a pool, or maybe even ice bath as well. Will assist with that energy. He said the Queen of Cups. So yeah, we're bringing this
reverse. Queen of Cups reverse. Yeah, it was the clarity for the Nine of Pentacles.
So I mean, that's definitely because Queen of Cups, that would make me think be Scorpio woman. I think in reverse would be like Scorpio man. I think if I remember that correctly, bro.
Yeah, I think we're there because you're going off of the Egyptian Brotherhood deck. I think as far as you're referencing. Go ahead though.
Correct. But yeah, which would be once again back to Scorpio, and even the chart that we had pulled up earlier, where it had I think like Aries on the ascendant, the like consultation chart if someone came, or the decumbrature chart. Back to Mars and Scorpio. So we're bringing these things that are not really hidden, but it's not really talked about, but it's thought about. So we're able to, as we're all connected, really sense and feel what others need, and really saying what's need to be said with the right information and the resources where to look. And that's definitely that Queen of Cups energy. And back to the Nine of Coins. It's like an ending of a cycle, really able to just see things and now really take that initiation, within oneself to start being interested in things that are foreign, like the the herbalist thing is starting to become more popular, I think. And, the whole getting back to the natural and all that is coming back into it, which is great. Because from just what we've really been able to see, like traditional medicines and pharmacy are really not bringing the cure. It's only either just keeping it at bay or in making it worse. So that's why we say, get the astrology to know thyself, so that even when you do go to the chiropractor or to these doctors, you can be like, hey, I know my chart, or this is what I got going on. How could you assist me? When he was even talking about getting a certain lumbar checked, or getting a certain area adjusted, so then they can even educate themselves. And they might have thought it was one. Well, usually they'd be on point, but it's best to be accurate. So it's like, yeah, well, this is what I'm seeing, so that everyone can really be able to be healed and not have to, keep coming back with that energy. What was that last card too, bro?
It was the Five of Wands reverse, and I have the Egyptian tarot, bro. So yes, Nine of Pentacles or Nine of Coins was Gemini, Aquarius. You were right about the Scorpio woman reverse for the Queen.
Five of
Of
Wands, the
Cups,
Aries, Sagittarius,
Sagittarius, Leo.
Sagittarius, Leo. So yeah,
Yep.
maybe it's beautiful. Like I said, we bring that foreign knowledge that really touches our hearts. To really take our health serious, because with the Reiki, back to even that,
Yes.
it all starts energetically before it makes it to the physical. So if one could be consciously aware, law of cause and effect, whether it's certain things that are not good for them, or certain food, or could be good, or to add a certain vitamin, or to have this certain tincture, with it all ties into it, back to the spirit, the soul, and the body. So the Reiki is clearing those different energies up, and at some point it can prevent something in times to manifest what they call the future. So for instance, I was working on, if y'all been seeing our lives lately, the pups have been jumping up here. We call them the Astro Pups. But about 4 months ago, I was able to do some work for one of the pups that would have prevented like a serious leg injury. So getting these things cleared out, because we have so many different levels when it comes to astrology, right? When one thinks of the tropical, the Vedic or sidereal, and the draconic astrology, those are 3 planes, and then you have those 7 planets on each of those different planes, and then you have the 7 chakras and the 7 auras. So, and then we have different timing techniques as well. And for me, and there's a lot of deeper, more advanced energy when it comes to like soul retrievals. If anyone's heard of that, there's a lot of various practices that we can do to really heal and help the people, because we know they need it. But some might not want to go to a doctor. Some don't like having to go. But being able to give them the information, and as astrologer, as a Reiki master, as practitioners, our best thing is not to point out the worst to you. That's only going to make it worse. It's giving you encouragement to say, oh, well, I see this. This is what could happen if, the changes aren't made, but I really see this for you. And knowing, looking at the chart, and if they have a natal chart, we know what points, what positions, what planets to look at in order to know how we need to talk to them. So if it's like, Aries is on the chart ascendant, Aries ain't gonna want to be told nothing. They're gonna want to do it themselves. So what do? You challenge them in a way that makes them where they're gonna do it for themselves. But it was really just using one's mind and one's will to allow them to do that. Or Taurus, it's gonna be someone stubborn. It's just different ways to talk to each querent, each patient.
That's ethics that you're speaking on. Yes.
In order for them to really get the best out of that, to have them thinking the best. I think in that chart too is like Gemini, the moon was in Gemini. So they'll be best to socialize, and really just call up some friends, or if they can, just get out and take a ride and get some fresh air.
They probably need to speak to someone. They need to talk about it and share their experience too. Yeah.
Right, because that sun, that Mercury was combust. So it's like they have so much to talk about, but don't know how to say it. And if they're not saying it, it's just building up in that throat, which would probably reflect in the opposite part of it and just cause all these different levels. And over time, to really not say something can cause throat problems. Or the opposite of that is like the sacral chakra, so how they use their will. Or maybe their grounding's off, ruled by Mars, so they're not grounded enough within them bodies. It's just very different things that we can look at.
So to add to your wisdom, before we go into the Saturn groups, if you can just, I think it's the next page or two, because I think it's in alphabetical order.
Saturn group.
Yeah, we're looking for the Saturn group. Brother Sean is speaking on ethics. So like, even if we see something that's serious, right? And it is our best, like say we see something that is dealing with, let's say you dealt with something real serious. Maybe you dealt with some like indecent abuse, say it was sexual abuse or something, and we see it, and we would have to ask a question like, okay, well, was there, because we can nearly pinpoint the age almost down to the day, alrighty, and go, hey, did you have something, you know, can you tell me how there was something that maybe like changed your life when you were this age or this age, and it kind of dealt with, you know, a family member to the point where you had to be either removed from the home, or, you know, that family member had to have some immediate consequences taken because of what they put you through. You know what I mean? Because that way you're kind of saying it without saying it. It's just a way of being ethical as best as possible, because it's sensitive and we can see those sensitive things. But to move forward, as we were saying, Capricorn was at the midheaven for that particular, you know, chart that we just cast hypothetically, as if someone had said, you know, they came to us and in the moment we cast that chart. Typical herbs ruled by Saturn. Can you can zoom in a little more, bro, so we can kind of take that Venus group out of there. You know what I mean? So the people can really see. And it's funny how cannabis is on the third line right now, where it says cannabis sativa. I just want to show you guys I wasn't making that up. All right. Saturn group, right? You at the top of it.
How's that look?
Just hit the up arrow, I think, a little bit right there. Saturn group, typical herbs ruled by Saturn. All right. Aconite. I'm not gonna go through all of them. Just wanted to show you guys. Aconite. Igopodium. Look at that. P-O-D means feet. Igopodium. P-O-D means feet, and Saturn was in Pisces. And Pisces, the part of the body that Pisces rules is the feet. Just wanted to put that out. Look, P-O-D again, right? Podagraria. That's already just, hey, look, guys, I can't make this up. I didn't do this on purpose like this. We're literally kind of like impromptu improving in the moment with this, right? Amaranthus bleatum, right? Aspen poplar. Alrighty, Asplenium cataract, right? Or some people may say catarash, right? Atropa belladonna, barley, barrenwort, beech tree, beet, right? Look, beet is a Saturn group. Belladonna, bird's foot, bistort, black hellebore, blackthorn, blue bottle, boneset, right? Buckthorn, cannabis sativa, capsella, bursa pastoris, all right? Carduus, heterophilus. All right, these are just a few. All righty, some things that could be utilized. All righty, maybe you aren't, processed in a way where it could be made into a tea or of some sort. Just wanted to show you just a few of those groups there as an example of what we can do. That's why we did Reiki, the body, and astrology, because when we see what's going on with you, come to us about the body. All right, practitioners like Brother Sean, Dr. G, they could be able to assist further with even knowing that. And I think really all true physicians should be able to do your astrology if you are comfortable with that. Not every so-called patient goes to a doctor and be like, yeah, doc, so what does it say in my astrology chart? It's not a particular chart they expect the doctor to read, right? However, you know what I mean? It's worth it. And I really think and I just got to say shout out to Mother Rashida Bey, because she was the one who gave me my first books on medical astrology. And when like I said, one of my first ones that I did was someone dealing with macular degeneration. And when they got those adjustments from the chiropractor, it got to a point where they was like, they could read street signs. You know what I mean? So I was like, wow. And that was just me going, oh, this is it that you're saying is the problem. It looks like this is the part of the body that, if you got it adjusted, it may help with that problem, but also to not do some other things as far as nutrition. Don't intake certain things that could help, worsen, that particular issue. The second thing I had going on, and then after this, I want to get to the one I think everybody's looking for, and that's financial healing. Because I think when it comes to finances, that's probably the main thing that causes a lot of people's lethargy and other types of illnesses, because by being forced into a faith-based currency system, it brings on some stress due to unnatural practices pertaining to the animal husbandry that most people are under, right? So can things be seen in the chart to help mitigate the financial issues? So I'm gonna get to that next. There was a brother who, he said he was experiencing sciatica issues, and the next thing that came out his mouth, he was like, yeah, I might have to go under the knife, for, surgery on a prostate. And I was like, sciatica connected to the prostate. So I looked up sciatica. I looked up what's connected to the prostate. Long story short, it narrowed it down to the 4th and 5th lumbar of the spine. And I was like, bro, just see if you can go get a 4th and 5th lumbar adjustment, because every time he said he would have the issues or the pain that he felt, and he's saying it was sciatica, he would do extraordinary stretches to be able to stretch out. He was like, yeah, man, I got to get like right around the mid to lower part of my spine. And that's about the 4th and 5th lumbar, which the nerves for the prostate are right there at the 4th and 5th lumbar of the vertebrae. So that's why I had made that suggestion there. Okay, I'm gonna move on. All righty. So with that being said, I was just looking at the comments real quick to see if anybody said anything else. Glad you guys are enjoying it. I appreciate you guys interacting in the chat. I appreciate you all. All righty. I see all you guys. Rose, Open 642, Andre, Kareem, Brother Derek, Mother Sahar, Realist. Who else I saw in there? We already said Linda, Almond Cookies. Who else was in there?
Rose.
Lauren, Rose.
Yeah, Rose Ray said how to beat addictions. Did we already go over that?
It's funny. Addiction is so Neptune. It's so Neptune. It'd be like, where's Pisces in the chart? What house is on Pisces? Where is Neptune? Did you want to go in on that real quick before we go into
it's
the
even
financial
quick.
thing? Yeah, go right ahead.
Looking at Neptune, where Pisces in the chart, and then just kind of stemming it to as why. Getting back to where did that start, and then really just seeing why, and then how that was able to build up something over time. So when it comes to the root of the cause, we would look at, even if we didn't even, have a chart, whether you came to us or we just asked a couple questions, once again, like that Jadakiss song, why, and then how did it start, and then now we're healing that because we're assisting, but it's really you, not statutory speaking, actually doing it, because we're showing you why, how it started, and these different reasons that you might know but are not really sure of. So we're making you aware of it so that you can make those necessary changes. And then we would suggest, an alternative, or starting to limit oneself on it, and then while using an alternative, and then making the switch, because maybe busting ship on it, one way is might not, truly be, healthy. So, slowing it down and moving on to something else. But those 3 points are, how to really beat those, and just, looking at your chart, or, getting the reading, working with us, or just maybe even journaling as well. So kind of, ask yourself those questions and let that memory jog within yourself. And I yield, bro.
Yeah, to answer your wisdom, addictions would, for in my experience, right, with coming across people that express, because the addiction is not what they're utilizing to soothe the addiction. The addiction, for my experience thus far, my studies thus far, is based on them missing out on something emotional. That you could probably go back to, maybe there's some issues with mother or father, right? Not to, because I know a lot of times people don't want to blame their parents. Oh, your parents did the best that they could do. You should just, be who you got to be and make sure that you can be there for your parents. But however, there's some psychological issues that may have happened. And it could have been something as small as, you were 5 years old and, In being 5 years old, you wanted a bubble gum from out the bubble gum machine, right? And it was 25 cents. And your mother or your father was like, no, I don't have a quarter to give you. All I have is $1. And you can go, you're 5. Can you get change? And then they go, no, stop begging all the time. You're always wanting something, right? You don't even deserve it. And it might not have been the best. However, now that rejection and emotional abuse has now snowballed into always getting finances for something to enjoy. Now that could have turned into a eating disorder. That's a type of addiction. Like somebody just needs sweets all the time. It could have turned into a spending disorder. I just need to shop. I don't care what it is. I just need to feel like before I go in the house, I need to buy something. I need to transact for something. I need to take it home. Right. And that's what I'm saying. Like we would have to kind of not only look at your chart, but we got to ask realistic questions because we can see the tendencies, but we would have to ask realistic questions. Go ahead, bro.
And you got to be really real with yourself. Like we can ask the questions, but if y'all are not really going to be honest with first and foremost yourselves, to be honest with us, to be comfortable asking those questions, it's like there's really, not going to be able to break that. So yes, we're going to ask you those questions, but it's going to be a not to, beat you down or make you, feel kind of way, because it's no judgmental kind of anything, because we all have something, that's occurred that has carried on up until this point. So we have to ask those questions so that you're seeing how things happen or how that applied to you, and then how you even are subconsciously doing that. So now we're healing you and you're able to process those emotions, process those feelings, get it all out so that you don't have to be, so 12th house, so self-binded to those things that, were only really a stepping stool or was out of your control, besides what you can control with your will. So it's a two-sided kind of thing. So I yield, bro.
Islam. So let's do another chart, bro.
I got let's see. I did 4 office hours with Dr. G. If I want to pull that one up. So let me.
Yeah, we can do that, and take it.
Go to the software.
Something. Yeah. How what we can also do is do another chart, or we can do something hypothetical. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, okay, guys, let's get the people to participate in the chat. Guys, give me a number 1 through 31. No, give me a number 1 through 31. First number I see is the first one I'm going to say. Give me a number 1 through 31. Somebody put 33. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Okay, somebody said 23.
I think it was 5.
Oh, 5 went up first?
5 went up first.
5 went up first. Okay.
After 33.
Okay. So 5. So let's go at 5. Okay, guys. Now I need a number 1 through 12. 1 through 12. Give me a number 1 through 12. 1 through 12. 18.
9.
Somebody said 18. You said 9?
9. Let me see.
That's today. That's today then. The 5th day of the 9th month. That's today. Okay, give me a year that's not this year. Give me a year that's not this year. So I guess we're doing the 5th September. So give me something between 1955 and 2010.
1983.
83? Okay, Brother Sean, you got your date, man. September 5th, 1983. Somebody give me a place.
Okay.
From East Coast, between the East Coast and the West Coast.
Dr. G got me on the screen share.
Between the East Coast and the West Coast. Somebody give me a so-called city. Bronx. All righty, there we go. Because I said so, says Bronx. So we're going to do September 5th, 1983, near the Bronx Corporation. All righty. There you go. And let's for
Brooklyn.
the name. You're hilarious, yo. No, Bronx, bro. We need Bronx. You're hilarious, bro. Yeah, take that out. The United, so it can. Let's see if it'll give us Bronx actually. Yeah. Oh, we'll get that close then. Okay, well maybe Astro
You know
Charts
what?
doesn't.
Let's go. I'll go up and find you the next one that came up after the Bronx.
Which one came up after that?
South Carolina.
Yeah, give me a city in South Carolina. What you want me to do? Like Sumter, Gaston. What do you want me to do? Columbia? You want me to do Columbia, South Carolina?
I see Rochester, New York.
Somebody put R.I. I guess that's Rhode Island.
Do Rochester, New York. That's the first one that has a poll.
Boom, there we go. Rochester, New York, bro. All right, and for the name, let's just put financial, financial medical, right? Okay, financial medical, I guess, right. And let's see what we come up with. Like, we got to pick a time. Let's do a time. Let's pick a time, guys. Give us a time. Anytime. Somebody said Charleston for South Carolina. Them Geechee boys. I ain't knocking it though. 11:11. Somebody, okay. Let's do 11:11. All right. I guess we're going AM or PM. AM or PM. That's the next thing we need from you guys. What's next? AM or PM? Somebody let me know what's the first thing we see.
AM. Oh no, that says 22 AM. AM.
AM. Okay.
AM to PM.
Okay, so let's see. Okay, cool. So now what we would have to figure out, okay, we know particularly this is somebody who's like, they're feeling a certain way and they think it's tied to their finances. So we're going to be like, okay, well, let's look to their finances, right? So, of course, I'm going to want to know, like, okay, what would be the best way for them to go about making finances in their life? And honestly, I would look to the second house. And it's interesting because this hypothetical being, they're a Scorpio ascendant, right? How are they? Oh yeah, they're a Virgo with a Scorpio ascendant. Looky, Astro Cookie. They got a Leo midheaven, bro. That is interesante. So they're supposed to be in leadership, obviously, in whatever they do in their career. They're at the head of something, or they're an entrepreneur or something. Because if I'm not mistaken, that dispositor means who is the host of the 10th house? And it's the sun. The sun is the host for the 10th house. So it's ruling over the 10th house because the 10th house, the MC, which is MC just is short for medium Celi. Coeli is Italian for sky. In Latin is Caelum, caelum. So Celi, Coeli, comes from the Latin caelum. So that's what MC stands for, right? So with that being said, I can see already just off their 10th house, they're supposed to be doing some type of entrepreneurship, but it's pertaining to service though. They're supposed to be like at the head of doing some type of servicing, maybe have other beings, assisting them, either working with them or for them. However, if I look to their second house, which is very interesting, Brother Sean, what have you noticed about the second house that I've noticed?
Man, you got Jupiter, Uranus, and Neptune in there.
Correct, which means to me, and their second house is on Sagittarius. So it lets me know that the ruler of their second house, their immediate finances, is Jupiter. And Jupiter is in Sagittarius in the second house. That is very fortunate, actually. We have come up with some hypothetical fortunate being. Again, guys, we cast this chart on 7healstar.com. Remember, we have a free natal chart calculator there. However, if you go past just calculating the chart like Brother Sean has done, you're no longer contributing to 7 Healstar. I mean, you're not even contributing when you're casting your chart there. But if you wanted to go further, we would say make sure you schedule a session with us. So you would have to probably Scroll down past this, right, to where we have appointments set up. You want to scroll down real quick and we'll come back just real quick.
It's
Just
funny.
scroll down.
Like this
Go
being
ahead.
would be doing the training videos, like the manager in the training videos.
Yeah, definitely. Like they're in front of the camera since Neptune's there or whatever, or they're definitely the one who's like working at a bank. They could be a bank manager of some sort, possibly, or they could be a physician. They could be someone who runs their own type of like, medical stuff, because Neptune was there too, bro. They could be a pharmacist, right? So that's where you see where it says online appointments. That's where you would check it out, guys, where we have the different appointments there. You scroll down and see we have different appointments that are right there. Alrighty, you guys wouldn't be disappointed. Go and explore 7 Hills Star yourselves and see the appointments that we offer. And as you guys can see, it's not just us and Brother Sean, it's also Brother Corey Bey and Brother Terrell Tamari Bey. However, that's where you would go further into your appointments. All right. So with that being said, let's scroll back up to the chart. Right. And what I would say here, I would let them, let's say we ask them, hey man, what are you doing now? Or sister, what is it that you're doing now? As far as finances are concerned. And what they could say is, hey man, I mean, it's good, but I'm being extra generous with it. It's like I have to share my finances with a group of people. That's Uranus, right? Or I get a lot of finances, but I have to, transact with or split the finance. I gotta, pay the people that's helping me or whatever. I gotta make sure that they're taken care of. I'm compensating them for helping me and things of that nature. So honestly, what I would also, see is the fact that their 6th house, which is their everyday work, is on Aries, which means, again, they're in leadership. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I would probably say what they would have to do most of all is probably really check their budget to make sure someone's not stealing from them. That's the first thing I would say, right? The Scorpio ascendant would let me know that they work behind the scenes, or there's someone who normally pays attention to their financing. However, I would probably get a little more involved in the accounting. All right. Jupiter being in the 2nd house in Sagittarius is doing great. Jupiter's dominant there. I don't think it's a problem with getting the finances. I think what the issue would be, let's see, Uranus is there too. Okay, Jupiter has to be the dispositor for Uranus. 4th house, they're always moving. Or they have multiple places where they stay. So it's like, hey, you might need to, sell one of those places or rent them out when you're not there. While you're up north during the summer, make sure, while you can rent out, your winter home in the south, so to speak. There's a possibility of that. Neptune is ruling over the 5th house. Maybe they have a child that they're taking care of that has some type of medical issue, could possibly be sick or ill. And maybe they would have to do something along the lines of finding different treatments that would not only be better on their wallet, but first and foremost, much better for the child. So it's like, hey, are you dealing with like doctors that are just trying to bleed your wallet, so they can be able to get whatever finances that are, that they could get? Maybe you could use some type of herbal supplementing, especially if it's something small like, oh, well, the child is dealing with, autism to an extent that if I don't have a certain food for them, they're just totally unfocused. They're having these, behavioral issues. And it's like, really, autism is an excess of sugar. I'm just going to keep it a band with you. Autism is superly an excess of sugar. Some people might, argue that, might want to yell at me for it. However, I recognize in a lot of my studies, especially and with my consort, what I recognized is, this is only my 2nd example. I know I got a 3rd example, and I'm going to be brief with this one. When you take sugar out of a child's, nutritional choices or whatever, their focus increases. They're not as angry and they don't act out as much. So usually, if you reduce, the sugar intake, you reduce them eating outside of the home as much as possible, and you being able to regulate the meals in-house, you'll be able to see a behavioral change. Because really, I don't necessarily like naming the issues, because the issues are a result of something internal or something being internalized, whether psychologically or digestively. And I think it'll be best to find a means to mitigate that. So how does one here? Obviously, their career, they're in leadership. Mars is there in the 10th house, ruling over their 6th. You guys made this chart up. I didn't. All righty. So that's why I wanted to ask you guys to participate. You guys helped us come up with a hypothetical being who's definitely in leadership. They probably have their family involved because the moon's there in the 10th house also. They probably got their consort involved too. Venus is there. And then the sun is there also, ruling over the 6th house because Mars is there in the 10th. So it's ruling over Aries. So the sun is under the leadership of Mars. So Mars is under the leadership of the sun. So is the moon and Venus. All righty. However, looking to Jupiter as far as where the finances are, things you would like to transact for and get, you know what I mean? It's just showing me that always taking trips and things of that nature, because Aquarius on the 4th house is someone who's always changing locations, either always moving or vacationing to a certain extent, right? Or having 2 different homes, a summer home and a winter home, which is going to bring me to my 3rd example. So this is really zen and sweet how you guys did that, because wait till you hear my 3rd example and you're gonna be like, whoa, that's what I'm saying about vacation. So this is really great. However, financially speaking, like I said, we can just let this particular being know, hey, I see you have no problem getting the finances. What you're going to have to do is reduce the outgoing of the finances. You're going to have to maybe rent out those other houses that you have, right? And rent them to people who are reputable, people that, if you do rent, maybe you have to do, Airbnb type things, possibly. Maybe that's what you would have to do. All right. Especially with Neptune there, because Neptune is also, in the 2nd house, would say that could be somebody who runs hotels. You know what I mean? And maybe you have a crew of people that are helping you to operate the hotels because you're the owner of a hotel chain, that Leo 10th house, and everybody's not doing their part. So you're losing finances because people aren't booking at those hotels. Like that's what I see in this chart. All righty. Brother Sean, you want to add any wisdom before I go in on this next one, man, in this last example?
Yeah, be good with the finances too. Like when they speak on like family banking or making sure like the appropriate family members are actually trained. So even with that sun, look like it's at still in that 10th house. Yeah, wow. It's having maybe like someone's grandfather, maybe like even looking out over everyone. But yeah, like you said, bro, the finance is no problem. And even with the North Node, it looks like Chiron is in that 8th house too, barely. It's dealing with communication, so it's maybe even investing or having someone handle the marketing and the promotion and advertising with that energy. And that 11th house is like Virgo axis and Mercury, and with an exalted Mercury.
Yeah, that's what it's looking like.
Yeah, communicating and publishing. So even he's like the leader of like multiple things, or she's the leader of multiple things, and really just about delegating what needs to. Putting family and including friends, and even Capricorns on the 3rd. It's possibly even like childhood friends, but this is like major internet energy and be able to communicate efficiently. Someone's doing, the home or the Airbnbs. Okay, I've got someone to cover that. I got a leader to cover that. so that one can just be free. Because that Jupiter, Uranus, and Neptune, it's multiple things with that energy. But I yield,
Indeed.
bro. Yeah, money,
Indeed.
that's not an issue.
It's something that's interesting. Hey, yes, we can assist with looking into the love life. Look, schedule a session with us. Like, seriously, schedule a session with us. We wouldn't, mind, assisting with those things. Not only can we look at areas pertaining to love and what is, what rules over the love regions in your chart. You know what I mean? Because that's very easy for us to see too. We can see. Love is 5th house, commitment is 7th house, sex is 8th house. So that's just, something that we could look to, but it's specific. So not only will we need your natal time, natal date, natal location, we would need your natal time also. But to segue into the last thing is this. So recently we've had someone come to us who is a travel agent. Remember last time we was on Office Hours with Dr. G, and I said people would come to us for astrolocality, like they want to know where to advertise their business and things of that nature. And I had mentioned Fez Dad Caps. This presentation I'm going to mention, and this is my third example, because it deals with healing also, which could also be something else pertaining to the Reiki. Let's say Brother Sean, I and Brother Sean see what we see, and he performs Reiki, and then he can also see like, hey man, you might need to take a trip to this particular location, right? So there are travel agencies out there that actually will do travel packages, right, for their clients, and they come to Seven Heel Star for those particular clients that are interested in knowing if they went to this certain region on the planet, what could they know about the energies they could experience in that particular area, which we do. We can give reports on astrolocality, where you are now and where you plan on going. So this particular travel agency is called Elevate Your Life Vacations, right? So I guess I think they're on like Facebook, and I think they have a website, elevateyourlifevacations.com. All righty, just shameless plug again, you know what I mean? Like I said, it has nothing to do with me. I'm just letting you know a real life example of someone who recently came to us and utilized Seven Heel Star for their clients, all righty, when doing the travel planning, all righty? So with that being said, what we can do with your natal chart, right? Let's say you're someone like this being that we just saw. They manifested near Rochester, New York, Rochester Corporation, New York State Republic. We saw their chart or whatever, and we're like, hey, you might need to take a vacation or whatever. You need some time to relax, and they go to book their trip. See what Elevate Your Life Vacations is offering, right? And they go to book their trip through Elevate Your Life Vacations, right? And so when they go to book that trip, right, through Elevate Your Life Vacations, right? Oh yeah, it's still up there. That's sweet. Do what you do, bro.
You want a new chart?
No. It's up to you. I don't know what you was about to do, but do your thing.
No, there you go. New chart. So
do your thing. We can do a new chart. You guys want to do it again?
Let's do this one more time. We're gonna pick a chart. Right? We're gonna pick a chart.
I know, right? All right. So, guys, give me another number, 1 through 31. not 32 or 33. No, I'm kidding, man. That was fun though. Give me another number, 1 through 31.
4.
4. Dr. G spotted a 4. Okay, so 4. Right. Let's do a month. 1 through 12. 1 through 12, y'all. Give us a 1 through 12. Somebody say 7? And then somebody 4. What'd you say?
Yeah.
7?
30 was the first one that popped up.
30 was the first one.
Well, you said 1 through 12, right?
Yeah, 1 through 12.
1 through 12. Okay, so let me back up. They said 30, so it would be.
So I thought it was 7.
7.
And then Brother Derek Blash Bay put 1966.
Okay.
He was already ahead of the year portion.
I'm a jump timeline.
Guys, give me a so-called city. Give me a city corporation for this hypothetical being. Give me a city corporation, guys. I thank you all for participating. You guys are amazing. All right. I don't want you to think I don't see you guys. Atlanta. Okay, let's do that. Let's do Atlanta. There you go. Right? We need a time, guys, and let us know AM or PM. We need a time now. When was this hypothetical being manifested? We need a time. Right? Let's get a time here.
We're not going to do another 11.
Yeah, we're not going to do 11 again. We just did that. You guys are hilarious.
Okay, I think 222, 633, 133, 9.
633. That's not bad. AM or PM though, guys, for 633. AM or PM?
You did AM before. Why don't you do PM?
Okay, let's do PM. That's a bet. Right? So this is taking a trip or vacation, right? For your health, right? So what we can do, and there's other things we would do that's technical. However, to not be technical and just to give you the gist and to be quick about it, I know, right? This is amazing, isn't it? They got the Virgo midheaven with the Sag ascendant, and they're a Cancer. Look at that with Jupiter and Cancer Cazimi, bro. Are you serious? And hold on. Not only is Jupiter Cazimi means it's within 17 minutes of the sun. So it's like from 0 degrees 0 minutes to 0 degrees 17 minutes. Where is that, bro? Yeah, I want to see that. 12:28 and 12:56. It's it's combust.
28 minutes off combust.
Yeah, it's 28 minutes away.
Hold on, can we change the time to make it look real good?
Yo. It's still exalted, bro. I still think that's pretty amazing to see with the sun and Jupiter so close right there. With and look, Sag is on the rise. So Jupiter in the 8th house. It's still the 7th house. It's still the 7th house, bro. Okay, This is like a teacher. This is somebody who's like a teacher or something, or maybe missed their calling in being a teacher. You know what I mean? But let's say they were a teacher and they're like, man, I just need a vacation. I just been, teaching these children or whatever. I really need a vacation. Okay, cool. No worries. What we can do here, even though we see, right, and I'm just going to give an example, a real brief example. And I'm going to try to be mathematic a little bit without Brother Sean having to change anything too much. So, Brother Sean, can you move your arrow slowly from Scorpio to Sagittarius? Scorpio to Sag. That would be the direction, right, in which the houses appear to move, which would make the signs appear to rise from like Scorpio already passed the ascendant where it says ASC. So Scorpio already passed the ascendant. Now Sag is there. And next would be Capricorn rising on the ascendant, right? So let's say, right, somebody wanted to, I guess, feel a little like they needed to have a little rest and recharge, medical relaxation, right? They would have to go west a little bit. Why am I saying they would have to go west? And if they wanted to kind of forget about what they're dealing with, hey, I need to forget what I be doing at work just so I can enjoy this vacation, then you would have to probably travel west a little bit to have Neptune there in Scorpio, either on the ascendant or in the 1st house. So that means that we would have to go back in time, right? So if Atlanta is on the East Coast, and let's just say maybe somebody would have to go an hour west right? So that we could put Neptune on the ascendant or within the first house. Of course, when we do the astrolocality, we'll actually have maps up within our astrology software. We'll have maps up that will actually pinpoint these things that we're seeing in charts. Because what we're doing is we're able to take your astrology chart and place it in different time zones, which would let us know where it would still be the planets where they are. They would just be in different houses on different angles. The angles are the first house, the fourth house, the seventh, and the 10th. Those are the most major points in your natal chart as far as the houses are concerned. Those are the angels, right? Angles, that's what they are. So to put Neptune on the ascendant, it would let me know, okay, well, we would have to go back in time. So you would have to go west from Atlanta and then be able to allow yourself to have, because Neptune on the ascendant, you would forget things. You would be able to allow yourself to kind of be in super vacation mode. Don't get too intoxicated, because Neptune on the ascendant too would have you make decisions to overly intoxicate yourself. You wouldn't want to do that either. However, with that being Scorpio, you would probably be someone who would, if it was something intoxicating, no matter what it was, whether it was an activity or a substance, you would probably want to do it in private. You know what I'm saying? With it being in Scorpio, with Neptune being in Scorpio. So let's say this particular client booked there, and again, because since I shouted out Fez Dad Caps, which has nothing to do with Brother Hasan or Seven Hill Star, that's why I'm just bringing up Elevate Your Life Vacations, because they are the most recent querent that's come to us for their clients. All right, to get the astrology for their clients, right? Because I was surprised. I was like, wow, you guys are like, yeah, we saw that we caught wind of that last presentation with Dr. G, and it's like, hold on, you guys can, cast a chart and see where we can advertise best. And it was like, so how else does that work? I was like, well, since you're, dealing with astrolocality, as far as your business is concerned, you know what I mean? As far as your business is concerned, we can use astrolocality for your clients. So you have somebody like, hey, we want to go to the Bahamas, then we can put their chart there near Nassau, Bahamas, and be like, well, look, this is a report right here that we can give for them. This is how their trip would turn out. This is how their experience would be, things of that nature. And we could actually see that. But I just wanted to bring this chart up just to show you guys, if we were to go back in time, maybe about an hour, to have Neptune on the ascendant, right, or within the first house, just under where the letters ASC are, right, then what we could do is we could be able to really look at, really look at how they could enjoy themselves, probably get a good night's rest, enjoy the dreaming, right? They would probably have really elaborate dreams there with Neptune on the ascendant. They could they would need to keep themselves out of trouble, though, because Neptune on the ascendant, they may get incarcerated. So don't get in trouble. No, I'm serious. As I said, don't get overly intoxicated, there. You wouldn't want to, do that. But to utilize Neptune in terms of just being able to relax and not think about what it is that you've done for so many years, as far as a job, so to speak, or anything of that nature. So some positives of Neptune is really great rest, really awesome dreams. If you did, choose to imbibe a substance, drink a substance or take on any other substance, Astro Pups a go. No, let me stop, man. You muted, bro. Astro Pups on go. Go Astro Pups. Anyway, so what I would say, seriously, another thing of looking at that too with Neptune there, you might find yourself staying at a really elaborate resort with some type of water features. Also, Neptune and Scorpio, it's like, whoa, I had no idea that not only was I staying here and they got a pool, but they got this really awesome beach, and there's these activities that are happening on the beach that are also relaxing. I was able to do like water aerobics. I was able to partake in other things that really took my mind off of what it is that I do at work, because by Neptune being in the natal 12th, then that means what will be on the 7th house is the natal 6th, pertaining to the everyday work, which is Taurus, right? Taurus is there. So Venus, there also in the 6th house, is just kind of let me know that that's somebody who's really bringing value to the community in probably just pointing out, some everyday things and being very down to earth and making it simple for the children, right? The children would, for me, relating to the children, that's that whole Jupiter teacher in the 7th conjunct that sun, the children. So being very close to the children. So this could be a kindergarten teacher, right?
A trip to the cave, if they can't even go vacation, like take some kind of like trip to like the cave or something out of the ordinary and cool for the children.
Correct. This is definitely the teacher who, like, when it's time for field trips, they're either really involved, right? Sagittarius ascendant. They're either really involved in planning the field trips, or they're always chosen to be like the chaperone or the teacher that all the children want to go because they're so much fun. But that's why they're like, I just need a break to not even think about, school because I'm so involved in where I work. So that's what we would do. We would be able to cast this chart, and just as an example, just using Neptune as a very quick example. I know we got about under 9 minutes left, but I wanted to leave time for Dr. G, you to say anything, add any wisdom to it, or anyone in the chat. We could look at some questions and go over some brief questions. But I yield, right? So that's what I'm just saying. Yeah, I yield. I'm listening.
With regard to the fact that you may be able to cast a chart where one may have a good time. What if someone has already selected a destination and they want to check now? They're like, oh, let me now check to see if that was a good decision, or what would the outcome be for that during this period of time for my particular sign.
Yep, we can see that too. We can see if somebody's like, hey, I moved here, I've been here for this many years, and this is what might been in my experience so far. I want to do this, but I've been finding it difficult to launch it. Can you let me know why? And then we can look and be like, oh, well, that's because this particular area only really favors these activities to manifest in your life. For that, what you're talking about, it'll be much better if you move to this location or that
I'm just talking about, say, even a vacation. Like, for instance, me, I'm going to be vacation finally, this month. So I'm talking about that. So I'll be in a different place totally, and I'll do it we'll talk about it offline.
Okay.
I'll be there for like 10 days. So
take me with you.
Look, you might be where I'm going. Who knows?
Indeed.
But anyway, yeah, but I mean, someone could have made a trip, made plans, and then say, oh, you mean I could find out whether or not this was a good choice or not? Or
yes.
Well,
yeah.
Yes. We can we can do that for you offline. Go ahead, bro. I yield.
Oh yeah, and then just even with that, like if it's already booked, it's speaking back to the ethics we were speaking on earlier. It's like, okay, yeah, well, you'll be kind of near this line, with this planet ruling that, and then we'll have like a chart of what's for, and it's like, all right, watch out for this, but this is what you really do to really enjoy yourself, and give them that, plant that seed of that thought, like,
right,
these are all the good things, but don't, watch out for this. But really focus on this so that they're able to, okay, well, next time when I book a trip, I'll make sure to come before. But this is what you can, we can do to make sure that trip goes smooth. It's like if it's a bad line, like a Pluto line or something, we see this, and this is how you can really make the most of it. So there's really like nothing that we don't look at as nothing bad. We say it as okay. Well, we can see how we can really flip that into a positive thing for you.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, you have a question here too about asking if you could explain empty houses.
Yeah, can I get to that? Can I get to that second? Because I see Omi L came second. I wanted to speak to, because I went back a little bit. Essence of Light Universal Academy. What does it mean when someone doesn't have a particular zodiac sign in their chart? I'll be very honest with you, and that's an excellent question. That the sign, all 12 signs are in everyone's natal chart. Alrighty. So let's say like, and then that'll lead me to Umi L's, where she said, what if the houses are empty? So that's kind of like a, both those questions kind of, are united to a certain extent. So let's say you have your chart and you think to yourself like, because you know how I usually come across that people would be like, I can't stand this particular sign, right? Like we've come across that so much. People would be like, I just can't stand, Aquariuses, I guess, or whatever. Like I've actually had people say that. I'll cast their chart and be like, yo, you're Aquarius ascendant. They be like, what? like, so that's
reflection.
Not, exactly. That's exactly what it is. So it's not the fact that disliking it or not even having it there. What it is what we can do and what we enjoy doing, because again, first and foremost, we're huge on AstroLiteracy. What is AstroLiteracy? Look, you had to know how to, read, write, and do arithmetic, right? So that you can get along in life, at least generally, right? I think the same goes for astrology. Astrology is our ancestors' mindset, period. All right? As it is above, so it is below. And everything we do on this planet is a manifestation, all right? It's a manifestation, a clear manifestation of the energies of the planets actually going around us. As much as we say as it is above, so it is below, but that is going around us, and we're actually in the center of these rays of energies that are going around the planet. That's just and I mean, our natal chart is letting us know. Okay, well, there was this snapshot of the celestial spheres, right, planets, and they were exerting their energies at this moment of time near this particular, place where I manifested, right? And so what I could do is, like, say you have an intercepted sign, because that more is more of an intercepted sign. What's an intercepted sign? So say you got like the first house on Cancer, the next sign is Leo, but the second house cusp is on Virgo. So it's like, hold on, man, I don't even have a house cusp in Leo, because the first house is on Cancer, but the second house is on Leo. I mean, on Virgo. There's nothing in Leo. So how do we go about that? Well, technically, your first house then would be ruled by both the moon and the sun. Because now the moon for Cancer ascendant and sun, Leo, being completely in the first house with the second house cusp being on Virgo, now the moon and sun would play a role in how you present yourself, how you do what you do, because that's what the ascendant is, which then would let me know adversely on the seventh house, you have Capricorn on the descendant, the seventh house cusp, and all of Aquarius is in the seventh house, because now the eighth house is on Pisces, right? So now, not necessarily saying oh man, it was an E essence of light, right? Not saying that one doesn't have a zodiac sign in their chart. It could just be that there may be an interception. So when there's no house cusps on a sign, then that means there are two house cusps somewhere on one sign each, right? So that could be, no house cusps on Leo and Aquarius might result in a double house cusp somewhere on, like, for example, Sag and Gemini. So then you got two houses that are being ruled specifically by Jupiter and two houses being ruled by Mercury. So to lead to the second question, where Umi said, could you explain empty houses? Brother Sean, you want to go in on that?
And empty houses are I'll just be quick and simple. It's nothing really bad. It's when because they're only like 7 planets if we use that, so they're not going to be in each and every house. But empty houses are just mean it's more of an ease rather than have a planet in there with a lesson to learn. So it's a more ease of a flow. So let's say, using the example, Cancer ascendant, right? Leo and accepted on the first house, Virgo second house. So you have an empty second Virgo house. So money and resources will just come easily, whether that be by, you know, writing or communicating, you know, wherever that Mercury would be placed, or let's say even if Mercury was in that second house. Well, actually, no, because it said we want to say it was
It'll
empty,
be even the
things
first
would
or the
come
12th,
easy.
yeah.
That would come a whole lot easier depending on wherever that Mercury is. But it wouldn't, you wouldn't have to work as hard as if, right? If the planets were in that house, it'd be less lessons, less karma, as they would say.
Yes, correct. So to add to Brother Sean's wisdom, like when I see people don't have any planets in a certain house, like for me, there's a whole half a chart of mine in my particular chart. I have 0 celestial bodies in a whole half of a chart. However, I'm still going to look to, you know, the so-called ruler of that particular sign that house cusp is on, to give me a clue and further information about that particular area. Houses are area in your life. Alrighty. So like, remember when we looked to finance in our example? So the area of finance was second house, the area of your everyday activities, your so-called job, your everyday hustle, the way that you're doing your daily routine, that's sixth house. And then the 10th house is the career, right? Your position, your standing against your peers, and how you are able to go about getting those resources so you can spend those second house, you know, finances, so to speak, pertaining to what you do every day as far as your career, second, sixth, and 10th. Let's say no one had any planets in their 10th house at all, and let's just say like the chart that we saw previously, if the 10th house was on Capricorn like we saw with the medical chart, but let's say it was no planets there in the 10th house, I would still look to Saturn to figure out what would be something that signifies the career. Do you know what I'm saying? And there's tons of tendencies. Alrighty, I don't want you guys thinking that astrology is just so like pinpointy. It's like really the entire chart. Shout out to the Exalted Cyclops again, brother Corey Bay, right? One of our brothers is part of Seven Hill Star. He has shared a movie with me that's on Netflix with Forrest Whitaker, and it called Arrival. And in Arrival, they were making contact with these interstellar beings, right? So-called aliens from another galaxy or whatever, or star system. And their language was non-linear, and it was in circles. And I was thinking to myself, I'm like, yo, that's the zodiac all day. Because everybody's chart is an actual word, sentence, chapter, book, Britannica. You know what I mean? Like your chart will definitely tell an entire story. And it's not just your natal chart. We look at so many different types of charts. We look at how have you progressed in life so far. Like somebody shared. Go ahead.
Even Mondays. I said even if y'all go look at the Intuition Monday, I think from like last cycle when we did Keanu Reeves, we had 4 charts up, and that was the max I could put on there. We can go multiple levels because you know there's 3 branches of astrology, and there's multiple different timing techniques that we can do to really take something very broad, very wide, and you know, kind of pin it down. But even then, with the information being pinned down, and it allows that, you know, whatever within your psyche to spread out like a seed, so you can see all these different things that are occurring. And you're like, oh yeah, this is happening, because there's so much going on simultaneously, as Brother Simon was saying, with the energies sending their rays through our body. You know, other energies around us going on. You know, we have the progress chart. We got solar arc, zodiacal releasing for Daria. There's so many layers that we can look at that we just, you know, peel apart. It's like, yeah, hey, okay, we'll send that going, and you know, close it back and let you have it, right? You know, imagine like having like the biggest sandwich ever. You know, for the meat eaters or even vegan thing, you know, you got like a 10 meat sandwich or a 10 topping pizza, you know, olives, tomatoes, you know, all your favorite things. And all that is just a different timing technique or part of astrology, but you're enjoying it as that one whole piece within that chart. If that helps.
Yes, it's Islam. And I guess to give an example, like I guess a real quick progressed example, Like I saw somebody put, I guess I'll just use this as an example, because I was looking for, somebody had put, I think it was like 4:30, I guess it was April 30th, and they had asked about love or whatever. I wasn't going to cast their chart, but I know that I could do something, I and Brother Sean could do something off the top of our head. And beings that was asking about assistance and they said they want a fixed income, trust, I was not ignoring you at all. I trust that you were able to get some wisdom, but I did my best to see what you were saying and still try to incorporate, you know, in my examples, things that you were asking about, right? But I know somebody had put like April 30th in here, and that's what I was looking for as an example. But then I saw somebody else put like 10/21/94. I think it was somebody said Keith Arrington, I think they said. And and Rose. Okay, so Keith and Rose were back to back. Okay. So let's just say, for example, Keith is 29 this year. Will be 29 this year. I'm not casting a chart. I don't even know Keith's time, but because he volunteered 10/21/94 in the chat, right? Since he volunteered that, I can say, okay, so this year he'll be 29. So it means eventually he's going through a Saturn return. However, I know that that's technically, if I'm not mistaken, that's very Libra-ish, right? Scorpio, Sun seems to take its Scorpio transit on the 23rd of October. Alrighty. So this would still be considered Libra. So that's about 28 degrees Libra. I'm just going off the top of my head, just knowing when the sun, you know, sometimes the sun may ingress a sign or enter. That's what ingress is. A sign earlier or later than what people may think. Sometimes it's different days when the sun will ingress a particular sign. So in Keith's case, right, knowing he's going to be 29 this year, I could say that even though he was born, quote unquote, a Libra, right, I know he's clearly a progressed Scorpio.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another type of chart we will look at in terms of that also. So it's not just the natal chart we're looking at. The natal chart is really the key to unlocking, seeing multiple other things. Because not only, okay, so 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. So we already know when it comes to Keith this year for him, for 29 and being a Scorpio, it's very heavily dealing with relationships, probably with, you know, beings curious about occult knowledge, maybe even dealing with a sister that may, you know, I would avoid anybody claiming that they're dipping and dabbing in black magic and stuff like that, you know, to keep yourself, you know, protected with that, because that's a 7th house perfection, dealing with relationships, period. 29 is 7th house perfection. So then that means also you're going through a Saturn return. So this is where some naivety is going to fall away, right? And this is just going off of the fact, look, I don't know your time, I don't know the place, but since you gave me a date, I can tell a lot about where you're progressing in your ego and personality and what area of your life is going to be prominent this year. But there's other charts that I could do if I did have the time and the location, which we don't like people. We don't want you to put it out there online.
Please don't do it. Please
yeah,
don't.
that's we're very Hippocratic oathy with stuff like that, right? We do no harm, right? We would much rather you share that in private when you're booking a session with us, alrighty? But just to say that, in Rose's case, 4/30/1960, right? So 60 to 2000 is 40 years, right? And we're at 23, so 40 plus 23 gets me 63. So we know Rose has achieved 63 sun cycles. She's in her 64th. She's completed 63. She's in her 64th sun cycle now, which will be completed or turning 64 April 30th of next year, right? So with that being said, I can now go 63 degrees, right? So the 30th April is clearly Taurus. All righty. And we know that, you know, it's about 10 degrees Taurus, roughly. Because we see Taurus ingressing about the 20th to the 21st of April, right? So let's say she's about a 9 to 10 degree Taurus, right? From Taurus to Gemini is 30. Gemini to Cancer is another 30. So she's roughly about a 12-degree Cancer right now. And again, I cast no charts. I just know certain mathematics that I can do astrology off the top of my head, just knowing your date, right? But I'll be doing it based just off of the sun. Then 63, right? We already know, like, where would 60 would end up, right? On 1, 60, 61, 62, 63. Housing issues. Not saying that Rose is dealing with issues in the home, but it could be some renovating going on. Rose could be thinking about moving, right? Or maybe Rose is considering a move. Maybe Rose is considering dealing with some things with family, or maybe some news about ancestors or property. 4th house, dealing with things with property, right? So she's a progressed Cancer dealing with a 4th house perfection. Like, come on, man. That speaks to every, you see what I'm saying? Like, I mean, just in this, I didn't even cast a chart. You know what I mean? I'm just looking at some things mathematically, knowing where the sun ingresses certain signs at certain times, though. But just to say that, you know what I mean? Other than that, though, let's see. Any other questions? Right? Let's see. What else do we have here? Guys, thank you so much for your comments and your kindness. I thoroughly appreciate your kindness. I really, really do.
Yeah,
let's see. Homing cookie.
Reiterate your event that's coming up, since we're a little over the time. Talk about the event that they can, that's coming up in September, not
yes,
in October.
Yes, Brother Sean, can you show both? Yeah. Can you show both of them? So we'll do the self healing and community building first, and then we'll go right into what's happening this Saturday as far as just the discussion. We got 2 more discussions to go till the workshop happens. All right. So here it is, the Universally Professional Astrology Community, T.U.P.A.C. Right. Well, this one right here that Brother Sean just brought up first. This is the astrology concepts correction discussion. As you can see, it's happening the 9th September. That's this Saturday. And it's also happening on the 16th. All righty. And then we won't have an astrology discussion again until the 21st of October. Right. But you guys can see this is taking place Saturday from noon to 1400 Eastern. Adjust your time zones accordingly. So 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. It's free for members. How do you become a T.U.P.A.C. member? It is 250 units in lieu of lawful money via Cash App. If you don't have Cash App, you can just reach out to us and we'll discuss other options. However, it is electronic based. All righty. For your exchange, it's 250, and we give you extras. We'll give you the Moon and a quick thinking Moon and Mercury workshop that we did on the 12th and 13th of August, with just under 10 hours worth of video from 2 different days that we went in on a Saturday and a Sunday, which was the 12th and the 13th August. But that's how you become a member and get all the astrology discussions and other perks, so to speak, for free from 7 Healstar when you join the astrological community. Because I and my brothers are part of some pretty large and international astrology communities. However, at the end of the day, hold on, keep it right there, Brother Sean. At the end of the day, we've seen that in our immediate communities, we don't have those things. We might got liquor stores on every corner, and, people want to have a cookout, or we know when somebody got shot down the block or something. I just trust that, in a so-called Magic Johnson kind of fashion, putting a Starbucks in the hood and seeing how it's gonna work. That's what we're doing with T.U.P.A.C. to be able to open it up to everyone. However, first and foremost, making sure that people that have been mostly at a disadvantage, those of us that might be from the hood, raised in the hood, whatever the case may be, to actually have access to an astrology community where you can get a whole lot more comfortable with these concepts. Then when you come, don't be embarrassed. Don't think people speaking over your heads, because we'll do our best to put it in terms that Boom, Quisha, Pookie, and Ray Ray can comprehend. No offense, I'm just keeping it a band with you. So for members, it's free. It's $15 for non-members. But if you got a student card, like, I don't care if you go to a community college somewhere, you present that student card, you can come for 15 units. If you're not a member and you don't have a student card, it's $30 for you to show up. All righty. And if you want the video, we'll take 10 extra if you want the recording. Because at first we weren't going to record these. The first two we didn't record. However, people wanted the recording. So I was like, okay, let's just do recordings from here on out. Because I was trying to treat it as if you came into an actual building, right? And it wasn't recording. You had to rely on your notes because I think that's just more honest. But you guys see the Cash App there, the Caducea symbol, or the $, as it's called, Our Astrology Street. All right. And it's on Zoom. All right. The next flyer, bro. So after that, on the 9th and another one happening on the 16th, right? We have on the 23rd September, the 30th September, the 7th October, and the 14th October. The Universally Professional Astrology Community presents Self-Healing and Community Building. All right. And this is where Brother Sean is going to be going in on the Reiki, and I'll be there to give my assistance pertaining to the medical astrology to just in tandem with it. I'm going to be a student too, sitting at Brother Sean's feet at this particular workshop here. However, the classes are $75 per class. So each Saturday is $75. So 75 times 4, that's 300. All right. So let's just get that out of the way and just speak about it plainly. However, we're allowing you guys to do 75 per class, right? You got to have that in before you actually participate in the class. All righty. So that's for all participants, even those that are part of T.U.P.A.C. This isn't one of those free for members situations. However, you'll get the recording for free if you are a member of T.U.P.A.C. However, the recording for all non-members is going to be $60 extra for the video. Because again, what we have to do is make sure we transact for the storage for you guys to be able to have a link to be able to access those videos. And again, Cash App at the $ Our Astrology Street. Same Zoom, same passcode. And when you guys do transact for it, 9 times out of 10, you go to 7healstar.com and click on the classes and events. That's where it is. We prefer you guys to do offline transactions via the Cash App or whatever of a choice. However, if you decided like, hey, I just want to transact with my card there, it's like, okay, do it. But, we really don't. I mean, we provide it. We let you guys be able to have something like that because not everybody has that means. But guys, we'll do Apple Pay, Zelle. You just got to let us know. Someone, a part of Southern Hill Star will have that for you. And with that, I yield the floor, Dr. G.
Well, I want to thank you both for coming on today and making this awesome presentation. Thank all of those of you who are watching it in real time or watching this in a playback for taking the time out to like and to share. We sometimes have more people watching than appear to give us the thumbs up. If you like what you've heard and want to see more of this, then please like, share, and certainly subscribe to our channel. I'd like to see us get to 50,000 in before this particular so-called year is out.
Indeed.
We can get about 17,000 more folks to subscribe. We'll be at 50. We are not monetized, so it's not for those reasons. It's just to know that we are reaching more of you out there. Had a call yesterday. Brother Hasan from a brother in the Netherlands, who I think he's by birth he was born probably in Jamaica, but he domiciled at Netherlands, and to talk about the things that are going on in those regions, and just to say how much this channel has been for him a help and thanking us for being here. And again, I will thank you for I don't know how many years ago it was when you gave me the heads up about this technology, and we and helped us to go live on my cell phone.
Yeah, that was 2017.
Well, I think it was a little. It was 2017, or it was before my injury, but then I got injured in June of 2017.
We mentioned it in 2016, but I think we actually did it where I was actually standing behind the tripod at House of Reawakening Minds. It was actually 2017 when it actually happened.
Because I do recall when I was in the hospital, I had to send my cell phone to the building so that the class could go on.
Yes, I do remember that. I do remember that. Yes.
So yes, so I want to thank you, because I didn't know anything about this technology, and you got to give credit where credit is due. And,
Gratitude. I
I do-
thoroughly appreciate that. Thank you, Dr.
so
G.
I do
Thank you.
appreciate, that. So yeah, you all, I have a couple of announcements that I wanted to, a lot of folks are going now, but you may see it you might be watching this in the replay. Don't go anywhere, y'all, but I wanted to let folks know, I think I corrected this, that there will be no in-person. Last time I think I said no live civics class at the House of Reawakening Minds in September. So I'm changing it because someone said, is not this a live class? And I'm saying in person, meaning you come to the House of Reawakening Minds the fourth Friday of September, like you've done in August and so forth. So during this month, there will not be a in-person, because folks come from all over the country. So I would hate for somebody to drive from, Missouri, as we've had folks do, or come up from Florida, and we're not there. So no, there will be no class on the fourth Friday, but we will do a third Friday, I believe, with Grand Chic, but there will be no fourth Friday in-person class. So we'll see you in is that October? Yeah. And then I want to say that on the 20-something of this month, at the end of the last Tuesday of this month, I'll probably be broadcasting from my location that you and I are going to discuss after we leave here. And kind of do a location presentation. But here's what I am so excited about this. I don't have the flyer up yet, but we do the unfiltered, where it's not on YouTube, it's not on Facebook, it's not on any of the platforms, but it's directly on our StreamYard platform. Y'all, I need y'all to listen, and I'm going to ask. I'm gonna ask or have Sister LaChris, our mistress, put an announcement out, because next Tuesday will not be on YouTube or Facebook. I will probably put out a reminder. We want you to register for next Tuesday. It's going to be, we have the capacity for 10,000 viewers, and it doesn't look any different. The funny part is people are afraid to put information in. It's only going to us, and you get your link to be able to come, because eventually what we're doing next Tuesday, those kinds of things, you're going to have to start paying for. Some of those things are going to be webinars. So this is a free webinar that's coming up on next Tuesday. Because you had to correct me, because I thought it was the 8th, but it's the 12th. Next Tuesday, the 12th, with Dr. Mark Armstrong. You guys are going to want to be in on this, and the things that we're going to share, we definitely have to do it in an unfiltered session. But Dr. Mark Armstrong is going to be my special guest. I am excited about him coming on. He is the founder of the Hemke Center at Roswell, Georgia. And when I tell you he's coming with it, you're going to want, just like the stuff you all were talking about. See, Reiki is the ancient practice. Some of the things that we're doing, he and I, in energy medicine is I don't even want to call it the next step, because the technology is still from the ancient technology that's been put into things to make things, So he's going to be here. He's going to tell us about some stuff that's going on with some of the folks he sees, some of the athletes, and some of the athletes' issues based on things athletes had to do in order to remain in their various, positions and statuses over the last couple of years and so forth, and what's being done to help those people. This brother actually has a theta bed, which is like a med bed. He has like a med bed, med chair. We know about those kinds of things and how they help with restoration and so forth. And so we have a couple other things that we're doing, and I'm so excited about him coming. So please, 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 when you get the notification, which will probably be hopefully Chris can get it up as soon as I make the promo in a day or so, by tomorrow rather. And I want you all to register, and not just register. People register and don't show up. like we have 300 people register and 125 people click in on the thing. No, don't just do that. Come and get the information, because when I tell you, he's going to be sharing some deep stuff, and the interesting thing is segues on what y'all are doing, what you've just talked about, but coming in from another angle, from the way the technology has evolved, so that you could maybe streamline some of the things, not better, but you're going to get the same result. But we've got things that you can do yourself now, because I think the goal for us is, we can't reach everyone. We love what we love to, but what we love for is everyone to be competent enough to take care of themselves and their families, to have the techniques, the knowledge, or knowing where to go within their own circles, if you will, or circles of influence, or pedigree, whatever. We want you to know how to not have to depend on those institutions whose aim has been to eliminate certain things and people and beings. So we need this more than ever. So it's going to be this time next week. We're going to have a webinar, not on this YouTube. It's going to be on our Unfiltered channel, and you're going to want to be there. I mean, I just, I'm excited, because I know what he's bringing to the table, and I know what he has. And so anybody in the the area, even if you're close enough to Atlanta, Roswell's right outside of Atlanta, so it makes sense to, even if you're in Cali, to fly and go and visit his center, for because people are coming out of there with some amazing results. Among other things, he's also a hypnotherapist, among a whole host of other things.
That's what I was just about to ask too, because that's what I was thinking. It sounded like, as soon as you said theta bed, I said, I wonder if he's doing.
Well, the theta bed is actually a thing that you get into.
Okay.
When you're in it, it does it that. But he himself is he's a hypnotherapist, amongst like other things. So I'm going to be putting up his background, so folks will know it. But he's got masters and doctorates and all that. And then he's a qigong master, and a hypnotherapist, cool. And a whole bunch of does a whole bunch, and does an energy medicine healer. And so I'm excited, because we need that knowledge. And I'm also excited because I've had the opportunity to know him for the past maybe 3 years, and in the respect that I get from this man, who I revere as one of the greats, is like, it just warms my heart that this position puts me in a situation where I meet people like you all. Well, I didn't meet people like you. I met you, Hasan, when you were coming up in the, you were drinking knowledge from everything and sucking it up everywhere. And I have seen you over the last 7 years or 7 years, about 7 years. I've seen where you've come from, you know what I mean?
Yes.
And so I've seen you grow into your own. And again, sometimes a prophet is without honor in their own, if you call it country or circle.
It's been 8 years.
8 years.
Yeah, remember you first had me on high frequency radio back.
Right, because that's right. I forgot.
In 2015.
I was on for years. I was on for a few years. I was on UCFL's high frequency radio network. I forgot all about that, but I've seen you where you come from, and and respect what you're evolving into, right? And I'm going to say it
gratitude. Gratitude.
It has not yet, as they said, I don't know. It says it does not yet appear what you will be, what you shall be.
My future self.
Yeah. So we know that, of course, you want to respect people and where they come from. So thank you again. And I'll be honest, we bump heads. We have bumped heads. I have not spoken to Hasan for like a year or something, but I appreciate his humility when we did reconnect, and now we can deal on the level of mutual respect. Yes,
absolutely. And because it was somebody else who was a troublemaker, and I was like, screw them. No.
Anywho, it is what it is. It is what it is.
Indeed.
Anytime
Indeed.
people have seen you in last month, this month, they need to think all is well. All
Yes,
is well.
it is.
All is well.
It is. Absolutely.
Even the conversation you and I had the other day, even though we were not in total agreement about it, it was just like,
Yeah.
okay, I'll do it this way, right? And
Yeah.
that's the way it should be.
Yes, absolutely.
Because
Absolutely.
folks always want to see folks in confusion. So y'all, I like that. Y'all, I like saying y'all like I'm from the South. But it has been another great show, and
Yes.
I have I'm gonna put this. Remember, I said I'm gonna put that up right there.
Yes.
I said I'm gonna put this up as we leave. This thing says, "What is super patch?" And so I'm gonna put this up at the I'm gonna leave this up at the end here, because what I want you to do who's looking at this is to take out your phone, and scan that QR code right there.
Yeah, and it works because we tested it before we went live.
You
and I was
tested
like,
it for me.
It works.
Yeah. You tested it for me.
Yes.
So I want you all to scan that. I want it up long enough so folks be like, I can't catch it, but I can't catch it. It went off the screen. So it's on there. I want to tell you all about it. We'll probably talk about it next week again when Dr. Armstrong is on too. But in the meantime, that right there is something, and I'm actually going to come out of it for just a minute because I need to see y'all's face. I can't let go out like that. But super patch. Can I say this about that thing? You couldn't see, but can y'all see that?
Yeah, I can see it now.
Mm-hmm.
That on my arm.
Yes.
Let me tell you what happened today. So I've been patching folks for all weekend, but I fell asleep on the couch before the show, and I woke up in excruciating pain in my shoulder. Now, this is not the arm, Brother Sean, that you've set Reiki on. That's this one. But this one I felt like somebody had taken my arm and twisted it around backwards and then sat on it with like a 100-pound weight on my shoulder twisted back. And I was like, oh my God. And I didn't. So I have there's a patch that I put on my arm. And within, I want to say 3 minutes, it wasn't even 5.
Wow.
The pain was gone.
Wow.
The pain was gone. And so what I have on me has nothing in it, no medicine. This isn't medical. Has no medicine in it. It's technology. It's a QR code. If you were to look at it, it's like a QR code. Mm-hmm. And I wear it for 24. I can wear it for 24 hours. And what it does is it's connected to the neural networks of my brain. So it goes and it tells my brain about to turn off the pain that center. So that's what this does. This particular one.
Got you.
I mean, I've patched people with Focus and Flow who called me up and said, "What is this stuff? I'm paying attention. I'm getting my work done." Somebody was stressing over the weekend over the event that was going on, and I put a peace patch on them, and they were like, "I'm just chilling. I'm just, or it." So we just, go back and scan that QR code, and I'll probably talk about it, later on. But when I tell you, y'all, this is something that is awesome. I even have a patch to put on athletes to improve athletic performance. But it's not drugs. It's technology, like you have on a Braille, mm-hmm. and it connects when it touches your skin. It tells your brain. Which each one tells your brain what it is that we have one called Kick It, that when you decide what you have an addiction to, like I have an addiction to shopping. So when you mentioned me while you were talking today. Like
I didn't even know I was.
Yeah, I was like, I tried not to make a face or say anything, like you were talking about me. But I just got that individual just has to make a purchase because.
Indeed.
But when you decide what the thing is that you're addicted to, that you want to kick, mm-hmm. then the patch goes to your brain and then helps you not indulge in that. Isn't that awesome?
That's very Aquarian because it sounds like
Mhm.
it's running off of electrical signals. That's
To your
exactly what
brain.
it's. Yeah,
But so
yeah.
each little thing has a different code on it for the thing that it is. You know, focus, attention for children with ADHD or adults with ADHD and ADD or whatever different things, and flow. You know, we even have one that gives you balance. Like maybe your mobility is off and everything, and it make people have got, you know, yeah.
Vertigo. That sounds like it
Or
can
well,
counter
just
counter
maybe
vertigo.
just weakness, or maybe you're
Oh,
getting
okay.
older and your mobility is challenged. It's a
Indeed.
great thing. So yeah,
Indeed.
so it is something that I'm excited about, and I'm also a product of it. And I've seen other people like when I'm putting them. Somebody says I need on the focus. Well, click on my link, click on that thing. I'm gonna put it back up there.
Yeah. QR
And
code.
what I like about this is not something that you got to come into and be in a business with. You just be a customer and click on it, buy and use it. But it's such an amazing technology. When I tell you all that my arm was hurting, like I thought like I said, that my friend did twist my arm all around crazy, not crazy, yesterday to try to help me work on my shoulder, and it didn't hurt. It felt good. But when I woke up, however I was laying today, it felt like I had, dislocated it. And when I put that patch on my arm within 2-3 minutes, and ever since then, I've been, like, ooh, look, I'm doing like whatever. And my arm, I thought, oh my gosh, what did I do? And I was like, oh, put a patch on. And when I tell you 3 minutes, I'm good. And I've been good, and I can wear this. We even have one called REM. I think you mentioned sleep disorders.
Mhm.
REM is the only one you don't wear for 24 hours because REM puts you in REM sleep. And when I put the REM patch on, I don't wake up like I would wake up at 1-2 o'clock in the morning and putter. I wake up like 7:30 in the morning. And I didn't get up. So
I mean, that's
folks,
good, right? You
yeah,
get rest.
no, because I don't know about some people. Some of us wake up and putter around all night because you can't go back to sleep. But when I put the patch on, I sleep.
Got
And
you.
I didn't want to. So anyway, do I see Thomas? Oh, I was there. How do I invest in that? Rose, just click on that button, click on that thing. But anyway, listen, y'all take advantage of these classes because they, more folks need to understand or understand rather astrology and how it can work for you and yours and how you can use it. And if not, at least connect with them and let them become your astrologers so that whenever you do have, and do you all have a situation where people can maybe sign up as a client, and if they how the attorneys sometimes get a what is that called, a retainer, and
Mhm.
like say they can sign up and say put XYZ
Yes.
currency in, and that
Yes.
retainer is so that they can come and get services as they need it, and or maybe they may have to add a little bit to it, but it makes it easy.
Yes. Yes, you're exactly correct. That's funny because we are a 7 Hill Star astrology firm. And like one large example was like, say we come across somebody who runs a business and they want us, they have, whatever as far as their budget for an astrologer to project what's going to happen with the business based on whatever charts that we require of them pertaining to themselves and the inception of the business, or the date that the business was registered,
Or
so to speak.
partners that you're prospective partners, will it work? Is that a
Yeah,
good?
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And like I guess on a smaller scale, let's say there's a family out there and they have 4 or 5 children and they're like, look, we got them on a good roll, but we want to be able to map out just more, specifically what it is. Yes, we can be put on a retainer and be able to help mothers and fathers guide their children. So we can help you guide your families, we can help you guide your business. And yes, we do discuss that, in private. It's not something that we put on the website, at least not yet. However, when we first presented ourselves, we're like, hey man, I know that we can, 9 times out of 10 be the astrologers for businesses. And that's why I said we got the glimpse with Fez dad caps. We got even more of a glimpse now with the actual locality with elevateyourlifevacations.com. So I was just like, I trust that it'll bring in more people. Will put us on retainer or case by case. Some people just still do case by case, but yeah, you can definitely do a retainer because at that point we can be able to do it just like if it was a studio session. Hey, we want this block of time. You get 10 hours from 7 Hailstar, will give you 2 extra hours for transacting for 10, you know, and that way we can be able to give whatever it is that you need. People don't have to come for astrology ever. You know, people don't have to, you know, come for astrology every day or for long periods of time. I mean, something can be done within a half an hour off of a simple question. And then look, you got 11 and a half hours left if you grab 10 hours. So I yield the floor, but the answer is yes.
Well, that's good, because some folks might say, "Oh, yeah." So, somebody say, "Hook me up with the rum patch." Yeah. So you know this is also, I wanted to put a shameless plug. House of Real Awakening Minds. Now we do have our own business, what we call market share. That we want. I think we have one of the ones that I used to have scrolled for the last couple of years, and I've been scrolling people's stuff for free for all of this time. We're not doing that anymore. We have 10 notes a month, and we'll link your website. You can get it'll be a way for the folks that are on our page to get to see what your business is and all that contact. So if you don't mind telling some folks, a good place to advertise is actually a House of Real Awakening Minds market share. It doesn't matter where they are. It doesn't, because we're reaching global. We just haven't gotten, but what I'm trying to let the businesses know that I normally scroll under there. Why I haven't scrolled them, as I said, because I told them starting in September, you have to be on our market share. So only thing I've been putting up, if you notice, were things that either we were doing in House of Real Awakening Minds, or something that was like a free service, like a civics class. I know it's free. Another class, I know it's free. But everybody that's got a business can spend 10 notes a month and have their link and all of that. So one sister is on there right now. It's a beautiful site if you've been on our website. So that's a place where for 10 notes a month, it just has to be recurring, that they can get their business up there on our website. And all the folks that come to our website will be able to know, okay, these are, hopefully they're Moors, they're and we're supporting and keeping the flow within ourselves. So that's why you don't see some of the other people folks scrolling, because they need to sign up for the website. And it's, anybody can do it. And they get a really good link. It's not just words. I mean, like your website will be up there when they click and they're looking for. So it's a really good deal. I don't think you can get it anywhere else.
Indeed.
I put that out there. And then if you guys want to be on there, you can do the same thing and be out there. And, that'll be another way to extend your advertising, of who you are.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. And we appreciate the offer. Seriously.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So anywho, again, we have, this has been awesome. I'm going to put this up here again for people as we leave, so folks can scan that QR code, and we know it works because Brother Hasan and Brother Sean, they scanned.
Yeah, we checked it out.
They checked it out, and it took it to where it's supposed to. And just so you'll know, that's showing that's showing 5 patches right now. We have 11 different patches, so that's only showing 5 of 11, and two more are coming. But we have 11 different patches right now. I'm wearing Freedom, that red one. That's the pain patch.
And last but not least, someone, I'll just say this real quick. I know what I think they meant. Do we hire HIRE? Do we hire, beings? We do have a workshop intensive that we would like people to take. It is an actual, forgive me. It is an actual, 12-part workshop. It is intense. To be able for people to go through a way that we actually have a protocol. But yes, that's the whole idea, because I was about to work for an astrology company in near what they call India, right? Where I would have had to get up at 11 at night just to be able to work 9:30 near, Chennai or Mumbai, India online. And this is how 7 Hailstar got started, because I'm about to, I reached out to this guy. I saw his TED Talk. I was, reached out to him on Instagram, was able to get the guy that runs it. And when I found out, they was like, man, the Hindu astrology or the Vedic astrology, Jyotisha very well, but you don't even sound like you're from India, but you know it very well. I was like, well, that's because I really studied. They tested me and everything. And long story short, though, they wanted like off of every dollar that I made, they wanted like 31.2% tax. It's not including whatever they wanted from generating. I was like, yeah, that's a no. And I think 2 or 3 days later, 7hillstar.com was born.
Wow.
Because I was thinking, yeah, because
I can do it myself. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just, yeah, because I was thinking like, all right, well, if Puneet Gupta can do it, so can I. No, not knocking you, Puneet. You know what I mean? You're a cool dude. We talked or whatever. But yeah, man, I'm not about to let nobody take that because I'm pretty sure there are treaties, there is further discussions that will have to take place. They was like, but we want to get you started now. And I'm like, not for you to take 31.2 cents out of every note I make. Yeah, that's a no for me.
Right.
Yeah, that's a no. But yes, we do. We would like for other people to know this astrology so that they can be able to do readings for other people, things of that nature. So we do offer a workshop intensive. It's under the events and classes. It's like the first one to the top left. And it's called you'll see it say workshop intensive. All righty, and I yield.
All right, then.
I'll just say one thing before we go, Dr. G, real quick.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, everybody. I am having a sale on my reading sessions. It was until tomorrow. It's my solar return, but it's until September 13th. So everything is.
That's right. I forgot. Tomorrow is yours.
Happy solar return.
So everything is 32% off. If Mother Wakita Marshall and the other mother that wrote in about the surgery, if y'all could message me, I can do something for y'all. So if y'all could just message me, if y'all are still on here, please reach out to me. But
and get 32% off. Till next Wednesday. It's 32% off up to next Wednesday, and then it's done.
Okay,
and
I
then,
know. Wakita has a visions problem, but I can text her your email. I get your email.
Yeah, and if someone's like on a tight income, I'm willing to work with you. If y'all called out to me, so reach out. But for any of those, I'm willing to work. But definitely get the readings while they're on discount 32%. And make sure that y'all tell them about our upcoming workshop. We're really looking to help everyone with their healing, explain it, and really, like I said, get into this community building. But first, we really got to see, take a step back from ourselves and really see what's going on. So get in the workshop and come to the discussions on Saturday as well. We did, let's see, third, this will be the fourth one. It's always something exciting every time, going off the random. And make sure y'all check us out, every Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. We are live to our astrology, to our jurisprudence. We're reading the Holy Quran on Sundays, and we're going over the Zodiac Constitution on Fridays. Monday is Intuition Monday, where we take one occurring like a full moon. We take 12 locations on Earth, and we go over that. And Wednesday is our 7-day medical tropical weather astro weather report, where you go over a strong, what's up, most of the term a week. We give you 7 days in advance. So interact, join us, get the social medias. I'm on TikTok and Instagram, Facebook. Connect
Look
with
in the
us.
description. All of your I have all of your Instagram or social media connections are listed in the description. If you're on YouTube or Facebook, look in the description and please get the links that you can reach out to them. Okay, y'all.
Indeed.
Peace. All right. We going out of here.
Time to get jiggy.
I'm still putting this up. I'm still putting this up.
Scan the QR code.
Scan the code.
Scan now.
Scan it now.
Here's the QR code.
Yeah.
Scan it now. Get you a super patch from
Dr.
G.
Dr. G.
Super patch. from Dr. G.
Yeah, hilarious. That's fun.
Really? Oh shit.
Focus round
Yeah.
a victory. Get you some freedom. Oh, or the liberty. Get you a super patch from Dr. G. Get your next theme song written and produced by Brother Hasan Ghaziel Bey.
Yo, you are hilarious, bro.
It's the views and opinions expressed by hosts and guests of official House of the Awakening Minds and emphasize the Bible are not necessarily those of House of Reawakening Minds. Presentations regarding sensitive matters, health and wellness information, products and services are made strictly for educational and entertainment purposes and are not meant to take the place of qualified professional advice.
Super patch.
Back to the patch. Oh shit. Yeah, that's me. Really? Oh shit. Yeah, that's me. Really? Oh shit. Yeah. Can you turn it up? My speakers out. Really? Oh shit. Yeah, that's me.
I know, cuz I